And it was not a pretty affair, but for what it's worth, Complexity did net themselves 6 rounds. Now, the only thing that we can really say going into this matchup is Complexity versus Astralis. Yes, that's 1. On Nuke, that's 2. And nobody believes in you.
Not a soul. You want to take this? Not a soul believed in Complexity once they saw the Matt veto. I don't know if that was some kind of tactical veto. Matt seems to think that they just accepted the L.
Right. Kind of a saving strats for the major while at the major.
Yes.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, I guess so.
But at least for Astralis, obviously, the matchup that we thought was probably going to go that way. I mean, I think there was a little bit of hope and glimmer. I'm pretty sure Jason Lake is here on site somewhere. He's got the red tie. Or if he doesn't, that could have been the whole pitfall there for the Complexity side. But that one kind of going as according to script. Now, the real close matchup, that was the Ninjas in Pajamas versus NRG. Now, some people put NIP 0-3. Not going to point any fingers. Not going to name any names. But that one was a close one on Nuke.
It was a very close one, and I was again surprised, as you said, you know, that we got to play Nuke. I did not expect NRG to get the map to be Nuke. Also, I was not expecting Forrest to put up this level once again. We did see him in the first stage of the in the major here playing Hearts Out. He's old now, like he's you, Sean. Let's be honest.
He literally has the same birthday as me.
He has the same birthday as you.
Same day.
Yes.
Wow.
Same
Things
age
that you didn't know.
Oh, you're as old. Well, there you go. You know then. How can you play at that level? You know, being that old.
I can't, so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, Ninjas getting Nuke and Forrest and Rez coming up big again. I mean, that's the story of their success throughout this entire major so far.
How can you play at that level, you know,
together 64 frags between the two of them, right? And obviously on what was a very one-sided first half, that game was very much in their control. Now, how NRG bounced back and kind of brought it into a real competition, I think, could also be a talking point.
That's going to be a fun talking point, because right now NRG are in a little bit of trouble. We haven't seen Cirque play up to the level that we know him to play at. You have Ethan, you have Breeze being 2 of the star rifles for this team. They're both performing relatively well, but Cirque has been the one guy who has not been showing up so far in this tournament, nor did he do it in the challenger stage. So he needs to come up fired out, because I do believe that when he's at his best, that's a guy that can take on pretty much everyone with AVP.
Yeah, I'm not too worried for NRG. They had a very tough first-round opponent despite having such a great seed. I mean, it's just unfortunately how the draw worked out for them. But you got to keep in mind that ELO system, their ELO will drop a little bit from this loss. So
yeah, no matter how close it was, it still is a detriment. I mean, L is an L, and L is exactly what NRG has caught here in their first round of matchups. And in fact, we're going to go to a break because we do have some more things to go over here. But when we come back, we're going to jump right into it. So make sure you're here with us. The Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Major does barrel on, and we'll be right there with you throughout the entire thing. See you in a minute.
Champions of ESL 1 Cologne.
Do you remember?
Welcome to the Cathedral of Counter-Strike.
Think you've seen it all?
Are you ready to be a part of Counter-Strike history?
ESL 1 returns to Cologne in 2019.
Are you searching for a better Counter-Strike experience all in one place? Compete for over $1 million in PUG and League prizes all on one platform. Track and share your performance with our advanced stats pages. Frag out and rank up on the industry-leading anti-cheat. Sign up for ESEA today.
All eyes are on you. So give them greatness with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks and game like the pros. When you see the unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you'll find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the prize pool of Intel Extreme Masters. Game like a pro, because the world is watching.
Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer.
I've been there since the beginning. Every map, every frag, every moment. I run, but I never hide. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely. Which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway. For the love of the game is to be wielded wisely. Which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway. For the love of the game is to be wielded wisely.
They walked on through the dense, dark trees. Harry had the nasty feeling they were being watched.
If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway.
The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting.
Through the dense, dark trees. Harry had the nasty feeling they were being watched.
If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to
laying
bet on
down her
esports
blood.
is with
The
Betway.
supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting.
Through the dense, dark trees. Harry had the nasty feeling they were being watched.
Laying down her blood.
The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy.
I can't go to Yemen. I'm an analyst. Get off the plane.
Laying down her blood.
I can't go to Yemen. I'm an analyst. Get off the plane. I can't go to Yemen. I'm an analyst. Get off the plane.
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard.
The lovely city of Katowice has certainly found a home here for the Intel Extreme Masters. It's all culminated to this, everything that you could possibly think of, the lineage, the legacy, and what will soon be the major champions, crowned live and uncut right here in this lovely city. Now, I might look very relaxed, but there's nothing relaxing about what's about to happen. Swiss Round 1 is in the bag, and now Swiss Round 2 is upon us. We need to determine what matchups those are in fact going to be. Joining me for this little segment here will be two of my colleagues. To the left, it will be Mr. Richardson. You might know him as Machine, and then, well, to his left, there is Chad Sponge, not Sponge A, Burchill.
I think the more you keep saying Sponge A, you might actually just be confusing people.
Sponge A, is that
Sponge
so? That's
A.
not what we say.
I don't think so, but now
It's
we got
close.
we have
Close.
clarity. We
Yeah.
do have clarity, which is nice. It's nice to have. And the clarity that we do have going forward is, well, it's been a rough day for some, and then obviously triumphant for others. Guys, any surprises in that first round?
Yeah, Cloud9, they played an absolute banger of a round. I just had to spend the last 15 minutes blocking accounts on Twitter. So, honestly, they just were a shadow. Like, they looked fantastic compared to what we saw from them in the Challenger stage.
I don't know how much of that was MiBR, though. I think MiBR probably enhanced the look of Cloud9 due to some significant gaps in their games.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a talking point on its own. The contention there is the MiBR not showing face here so far. 3 rounds is not going to be the one to do it, Chad.
And on Inferno, right? If you remember back to 2017, that was when they had issues on that map. You had Phelps and Fur holding B, and they couldn't get anything done. Looks like they've adjusted some of that. Not that we got to see a lot of their CT side, but that's just a poor start from them and probably not what they were hoping for.
I'd throw another one into the mix, though, like NRG. I think NRG versus NIP on Nuke was...
The full distance, too.
Full distance, sure, but I was actually kind of surprised to see them jumping into the Lion's Den like that. NRG taking Nuke to Nip.
Well, Nip having found the better of NRG does kind of set us up for what is now Swiss round number 2. And we're going to find out what those matches are. It's not exactly an unveiling. I'm not going to pull out a brand new car out of the backpack here. But I do have the matchups. Indeed, the high matchups look like this. Na'Vi versus Team Vitality. Team Liquid in the Ninjas of Pajamas. Astralis Cloud9. Now that's interesting. FaZe Clan versus the Renegades. Of course, if you look at the lower matches, Ents and Hellraisers, Big G2, Energy, Avantgarde, and rounding it all out with MiBR and Complexity.
Oh my goodness.
Now, the words that do come to my mind would be spicy meatball. Chad, which one of these is you're picking?
Oh, I think that there's a lot of good games that to be looking at, but we want to see better form out of MiBR, right?
Yes.
So I actually think MiBR versus Complexity to see where both of these teams are at, because a lot of people seeded Complexity as in that last position. That's why they're sitting at the 16th seed, and a lot of people have got them 0-3 in the pick'em. So I want to see if they've got any fight in them.
Oof.
Mr. Richardson now?
I mean, so MiBR and Complexity is interesting just because Complexity, all we've seen from them so far was a game on Nuke versus Astralis. It's not going to be the best gauge of form.
Sure.
Now I'm looking at Astralis Cloud9 for an upper bracket, get to see how good Cloud9 really
and
are.
I think that will be the actual test for Cloud9, right? Because for what they just showed in dominance over MiBR, I think this will say much, much more as to the form and what they're going to be able to bring to the table here as we go deeper into the Swiss system.
Renegades versus FaZe is also another interesting one, because Renegades have done it now. They've beaten Ents 3 times. That's 3-0 in maps, and if they can do it versus a higher caliber of opponent like FaZe, then, you know, the sky's the limit for this Renegades team, because they have looked really prepared. Now they don't get a lot of time to actually counter-strat and prepare, right? They can't go back and watch demos for an entire night. This has to be done on the fly, and they're going to have to play their style of CS.
Now, what about Big versus G2? Now, I don't think a lot of people put a whole lot of stock into G2 coming throughout the entirety of what the major system is. But if we look at Big, there's definitely a lot of pick'ems put behind that one.
That Big game, right? They only stayed in that by clutches. I'm pretty sure there was 8 1vx situations that entire game, and Big had won 6 of them. So when you consider that against a team like Vitality, now they have to go up against another French roster, things could be looking scary, because a lot of people were thinking Big off that E-League performance were looking hot.
Okay, one not to sleep on. Obviously, all these games are exciting. I could give you a reason to watch every single one. Na'Vi Vitality is an example, but NRG Avantgarde, genuinely intrigued to see if Avantgarde can push NRG. Off the back of a loss, if NRG aren't tight, they could be staring down the barrel of a 0-2.
Right, and that is not where you want to start or even begin to think about the finish. But Avantgarde, I mean, for themselves coming into this tournament, do we think that they received praise throughout this sort of inner working ranking system that they
Not
deserve.
through the system, no. I don't think the teams in attendance gave them the credit they're due. I mean, you can see they're at 15th seed after their first loss. They weren't far from it at the start. I think that they're going to be getting a pretty tough tall task of their opponents due to their seeding.
You can look, Trace, you can see how much Renegades has gone up with their victory over ENCE, right? And obviously the upset losses, the other teams have dropped them down into different realms, but Renegades have gone up and they're currently sitting in the 5th position in the whole tournament, right? So if they're able to take out FaZe, that's why I think that's such a big one.
Now, FaZe Clan being that big one, they would be known as the final boss maybe a year, 2 years ago.
Hell yeah.
Now I believe that they are vulnerable. I think that this is a FaZe Clan that is beatable. Can the Renegades keep up what they have going for themselves is the question.
It's a complete, hands off the situation because we truly don't know. But what I will say is that Renegades have shown resilience unlike we've ever seen before, and no one has looked like too much of a task so far. Bearing in mind the challenger opponents were a breeze. I think this is going to be the the litmus test to see if Renegades are real.
And Chad, you would know, I think, better than anyone else, Azur having to have kind of evolved into this role as the leader. Obviously, he's found glasses on his journey there, and it seems like he's seeing things perfectly 1920 now.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's actually needed glasses for, but Alex seems to think the theory is he's playing a lot better now that he can actually see the screen. So
he went to an optician.
All signs prove you right, I suppose. But when we have that matchup, I think Renegades might be able to find themselves in a comfortable place in the map pool, right? In the past, FaZe normally tend to go towards a bit of a mirage, and Renegades are happy to play there too.
Well, happy to play there will be the test of time. Obviously, we could sit here and jive and jest about the things that are going to be going on and going down. The deeper we get into the Swiss system, but I have to just kind of break away from you guys. I love hanging out with you. I like the concept of, like 2 guys on a couch, no .coms attached. I do like hearing from MiBR on what was a very, very troublesome start here at the Intel Extreme Masters.
I'm joined by Ricardo, the manager of MiBR, and commiserations on that first match. I'm guessing it wasn't the result you wanted.
No, not at all. We came prepared, but they just were better in that game.
Why do you think that we didn't quite see the magic we were expecting from this classic lineup today?
I think what hit us a little bit hard was the first game. Everybody was just feeling. We had a really good preparation. We came really confident. We still really confident. And yeah, let's move on. And we have another match against Complexity right now. And let's get the win.
I do want to talk about Complexity in a second, but you're moving things on before I want to, Ricardo, because I do need to ask about why the team lacked decisiveness, because you mentioned they're confident. But I'm not so sure. So why do you think they lack that pace today?
I think it's the first tournament with this lineup. The last tournament, even the other guys play, was 3 months ago. And I think by the time everybody start clicking again, we're going to play our game.
Okay, so you've got the week to reignite that fire. And you mentioned you're playing Complexity next. So I'm guessing you're probably feeling pretty cool about that one. What do you expect the result to be this time?
A win. For sure, yeah, that's what we're expecting. We respect all the teams here. Complexity, even though they were seeded 16th, but it's still a hard matchup. That's a major. Every team deserves to be here, so we're gonna give respect to them, but we want to get the win.
Well, Ricardo, thanks for talking to me. We'll see if he's dead right later on in the show.
Well, here we are, back again, right where I expected to meet you. Welcome back to what will be the Swiss Round 2, and it all starts here with a little bit of ENCE versus the Hellraisers. Both these teams not finding quite necessarily the start that they wanted here, but, well, you know what? You can't just give up on your dreams like that. Isn't that right, fellas?
Yeah, you're definitely right, Trace. As
100%
always.
correct there, Trace.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. But no, in all seriousness, ENCE, I think everyone has put a lot more stock into them, and unfortunately, that's not what we got in the first round. Now we're looking at an ENCE that, well, they've got to turn the tides.
They were a little bit unlucky, I would say, in the first game against Renegades. I think they actually displayed some decent Counter-Strike. They were playing well. They were playing organized, sort of like a typical ENCE performance. Unfortunately, on their behalf, Renegades were playing just as well. They were winning the clutch situations, and when ENCE was needed the most to win out those certain clutches, win out the pressured situations, they just fell flat. So in that regard, ENCE did not win the game, but I think they were actually the best team in their matchup. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see ENCE coming in with confidence in this one.
Yeah, I don't think they should hang their heads for losing to Renegades again. Renegades have looked good time and time again. I mean, a lot of people have them advancing through this stage into champions, which is shocking to say for a team like Renegades.
Yeah.
Hellraisers on the other side, I don't know, because that last major we saw so much out of Issa and Voxic.
Yeah.
And it's just, can those two duplicate that? I know they have Hobbit now as that third wheel. I don't know. They didn't look very good against FaZe, if I'm being honest.
I definitely agree. I mean, when you say it like that, you have Issa, you have Voxic, two of the most promising stars in the world of Counter-Strike right now. You add in a Hobbit, who at one point were one of the best players in the world. He had a really good streak with Gambit. You would say that the individual skill on that team is enough just to power through a stage like this. But what we saw against FaZe, they were being completely outmatched. They weren't working together, and it definitely wasn't pretty, Trace.
That's right. Angel, Dead Fox, Voxic, Hobbit, and Issa Hellraisers is what we're going to be taking a deeper look into here. Before we jump into our first match, let's dive right in.
Hellraisers have transformed their roster over the years to suit their niche. The past year or so has been about exploring talents from a multitude of countries. That quest culminated in finding Voxic and Issa. Both have proven to be skilled individual players, capable of powering Hellraisers to numerous upsets and respectable placings, including a top 8 finish at the previous major. In-game leader Angel looks to revive the career of new recruit Hobbit, who comes off a poor year in Gambit, but prior to that had looked like a revelation of the CIS region. Katowice will showcase whether Hellraisers are a complete team or still carried by individual excellence.
Yes, Hellraisers hailing from the Ukraine, kind of in a weird about way, but certainly it's good to see you, good to have you here, and well, what is an 0-1 matchup is not where they wanted to start their journey either. The Hellraisers have a lot of promising individual talent, but I think the big question is, can they pull it all under that one umbrella?
I mean, I think they would need to in order to win this because ENCE has that same skill in Sergey and Alu, so I think if they're just looking to, deathmatch it, they might not win that game.
It might not pan out.
I definitely agree. I think ENCE is too stable. They have too good of a foundation to fall back on. If they just want to go in and deathmatch, I think ENCE is going to be stronger than Hellraisers are. That said, though, I do have a lot of praise for guys like Issa, Voxic, Hobbit, for that matter. When you look at those individuals, those are guys that each in their respective ways and each in their respective teams could be the star player and could be a very... how do you say, like a win condition coming into a matchup like this. So in that regard, I'm not too sure where this is going to go. I think it's a team against a team deathmatch.
Yeah, and I think that does make it for an interesting matchup pound for pound. You talk about the variables that could be replaced, X's and Y's here, but the reality is we know ENCE Esports to have more of a methodical approach. We know them to use just a little bit more prowess when it comes to the tactical side of the game. And for ENCE being these young stars, a lot on their backs here, and I'm not just talking about the country of Finland itself.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot on the backs of ENCE right now, right? Everyone expects them for once, to show up and perform. They're so young, so how are they gonna, are they gonna crumble under that pressure that they finally have, the community behind them? I mean, that's the ultimate question here.
We did touch a little bit upon it during the pregame for the first match, but the fact that Alu obviously became a dad during last week, he had to travel home, so obviously ENCE have not been practicing throughout this week leading up to the second stage of the major. So there may be a little bit of a preparations being played into that factor as well. That said, though, it's a team that prepared for the first stage of the major very, very well. As we saw, they did go 3-0, no, 3-1, I believe. They did lose to Renegades, but that was in a close fashion as well. So overall, I would not play too much factor into that. But given the fact right now that ENCE is a team that I mean, what's the ceiling? That's why I find myself questioning it a little bit. We do see ENCE play well, but how well can they actually play when it matters the most?
And what is it that actually turns out to be their kryptonite? Is it something as simple as not getting the map bans and vetoes that they want? Or are we talking about players that maybe or maybe don't show up on a server in a certain day? I mean, what is the real kryptonite of this ENCE lineup?
I noticed that when ENCE jumps off to leads, they typically let their foot off the gas because they're such a young team. They just they like to scrim around and have a little bit of fun, it looks like. I noticed that against Windstrike, especially on Train. So if they jump out to a lead, I'm a little bit worried. I always hope they can kind of just grind through matches whenever I'm rooting for ENCE.
Another tendency I see in ENCE play is the fact when Ariel is not having a great game, I feel they lack a little bit of that aggressive rifling power. He's very aggressive. He's very good at getting the first duels and very good at winning them. But when he's having an off game, you need that sort of like secondary rifler coming into play, especially in that aggressive role. So he's definitely a player that needs to play well if they want to win again. Against Hellraisers.
Yeah, and I guess for what's ENCE and Hellraisers over on our stream, we can take this second now to kind of talk about what's going on the other stream. Big G2, we're going to kind of shift it back down a gear. We're not ready to pop the clutch just yet, but Big and G2. Any thoughts on that one, Sean Gers?
It makes me a little bit worried because I have Big going through on my pick'em, and G2 is an interesting matchup because they both like playing Dust 2 and they both like playing Overpass. And I think G2 can steal either of those maps. I'm not saying they're favored, but it's pretty close.
I think it's a real test for Big coming into this one. They need to be able to beat a team like G2 if they want to be a serious contender for going through. As you said, I also myself have them in my pick to go through. So I do believe that Big have what it takes. You know, bringing in Shantaris adds a lot of firepower to that lineup as well. Next now part of it as well. Smooya.
Shantaris was missing in that first match.
He was missing those Smooya out of the lineup. So I think Big have done what they needed to do in terms of making sure that they have a chance of going through. Whatever they can put it on the server trace is a complete different manner.
I mean, of course, there would be a lot of questions about any sort of roster adjustments therein, and obviously with Smooya out of the picture, even Zantara is the god of Counter-Strike, as you would read across all the forums. Now, he is certainly a factor that needs to show up here. More specifically, over on that map, they're going to be going to Mirage. That'll be where they're playing off on. So I guess when we start talking about these two going to Mirage, just a little bit here before we do pop the clutch.
Why is Big playing Mirage again? This used to be their permaban, so I don't know. They looked very bad on Mirage against Vitality, if I'm being honest. I don't know why they keep going to Mirage. It's the one map that they haven't really played a lot of in the past. Got beat. Doesn't really in-game lead on it much unless he has like pocket plays or anti-strats.
Yeah.
So it's another interesting choice.
On the other hand, G2 didn't look too good on Mirage during the first stage of the major as well.
So pretty bad on Mirage too.
I think they were playing against Tai Lu at a point where they had a decent CT side but couldn't really get it done on the T side. So it's a bit of a weird matchup. I feel it could go both ways, as you said.
Yeah.
Well, nothing is going to come online, dare I say, if Shox goes 8-22 yet again like he did in his opening matchup here. Shox being one of those key players within that lineup that we could tout is needing to show up in a big way.
He has to, because he was the most impactful player during the first stage of the major. He was the reason why they qualified, simple as it is. He's the in-game leader. He was being very proactive, very aggressive, made a lot of info plays, and also got a lot of frags. So the impact he had in G2's place of getting to this point was very impactful. So you need to get back on that level. Otherwise, I don't see them winning against anyone.
Yeah, I agree, because he was all over the map. He was entry fragging, lurking, and obviously he calls. And Kenny S also had tons of good performances. So it's on Kenny to actually come up big too.
Well, in case you're just joining us, I'm going to go ahead and give you the forewarning that there is just a little bit of a slowdown. There's just a bump in the road, but it is not the end of the world. In fact, we're going to be jumping into that game before you know it. So in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind, fellas, humoring me through some of the stuff that we were talking about on the couch over there, the sofa. Everyone likes a good sofa session, but in this session, we're talking about Swiss Round 2. So perhaps we can begin to talk a little bit about some of the other matchups. We've highlighted Big G2. We're on the cusp of watching Ents and Hellraisers, but maybe a little bit of NRG and Avangard. Now, NRG not having the best start. Obviously, they didn't win that one. Very close when it came down to it. But against an Avangard that I believe both of you, or at least you, Sean, have said that, at least for the rankings, this hasn't necessarily done them justice.
Yes, Avangard was done dirty in these rankings. I'm going to be quite honest here. They were done dirty by these teams. They might not have networked as well as the other teams with the top players. So they got thrown into that 15th seed. I think obviously, I wouldn't have them in like top 7 or something like that, but they're better than the 15th team here.
I definitely agree. And then on the other hand, you can see NIG. They faced NIP in the first matchup. That was a very unlucky draw for them, given the rankings. And now they face Avangard in a 0-1 match, which I feel is by far the most competitive match of those two. So I feel sorry for NRG, but on the other hand, if you want to progress into a top 8 and want to secure yourself a playoff spot at a major, you got to be able to win those matches, simple as it is.
Well, as simple as it is, and not always that simple, it is now simply enough put that I'm going to be going to a quick break. When we do come back, is it going to be easy for Ents, or is there going to be some hell risen around here in the lovely city of Katowice? Make sure you're with us when we come back.
All eyes are on you. So give them greatness with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks and game like the pros. When you see the unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you'll find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the prize pool of Intel Extreme Masters. Game like a pro, because the world is watching.
Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer.
Suit up. Go, go, go!
You don't understand what you're involved in.
You need to walk away.
Can't fight the friction!
What the hell is he doing?
I find it best not to look.
Relax.
I'm relaxed.
You don't sound relaxed.
What are you waiting for? I'm jumping out a window!
Mission Impossible Fallout.
We are close. We are so close.
Hey, it's me. Just checking in. God, I miss you guys so much, but not long now. And
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard.
Katowice, what a lovely city and host this has been to what is indeed one of the best majors of all time. That's right, the Intel Extreme Masters coming here again and again and again, and this time it will not be Fnatic taking home the trophy, as they have already exited the scene. I think we're all on a little bit of edge around here. In fact, I've got Ints and Hellraisers, and I've also got some analysts here to my right. Perhaps everybody just kind of keeps it cool, like everybody just calms down. Ints versus Hellraisers, got everybody on edge. But in fact, the veto is already flying out. We can tell you where exactly we're going, and well, for that map choice, my goodness, Dust 2 will be where we go. Now, in case you're not noticing, Ints will be starting on the CT side. Guys, as we start to walk this one down memory lane of how the vetoes and how this starts to unfold, what do we got going for Ints?
The only thing that's surprising to me in Ints' vetoes is that they vetoed Overpass, but that just shows me they respect Hellraiser's Overpass a lot. I mean, they're so good on Mirage, Dust 2, Overpass. It really doesn't matter. I would favor Ints, especially starting CT side. We saw Alu have such a good performance in the Challenger stage here.
I definitely agree. I do think Ints is a great Dust 2 team. But that said, I think Hellraisers are even better. At least they used to be with their old lineup. Issa, super aggressive on the CT side. Voxic, super impactful on the CT side. Able to roam around with the AWP, being very impactful. Now you have Hobbit as well. He can be that stable anchor on the CT side as well. So I think if Ints want to win this one, they need a strong T side, because I think Hellraiser's CT side is going to be super, super, super controlled and super, super good.
And at this point, he talks about stability and these teams needing to find that, as both of them are sitting 0-1. It is time to meet our teams. It is time to get them situated on the stage, and it is time to start taking a big, big picture looking at this matchup that is Ints versus the Hellraisers. Let's get them on the stage.
Taking to the stage, Finland's finest, ENCE Esports. Surprising for many people in the scene, ENCE placed first at the European Minor, dropping only a single map in the tournament. And their opponents, Hellraisers. In London, they beat major winners left, right, and center. Now they added one to their arsenal. Their last playoff run might have been cut short, but this time they look to make up for that.
Yes, making up for that is on the cards, and well, for both of these teams, making it up for that 0-1 start to the major is certainly in their bullseye. Scoring off on what will be Dust 2 Ints with the CT start. In case you're just joining us, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to get activated over on social media. Use hashtag IEM. Tell us what you think about this matchup, and therein, is it easy for Ints? That's the big question of the hour, fellas.
I don't think it's going to be easy for Ints, but I do think they have a decent chance of winning this one, especially considering they're starting on the CT side. Last time we saw Ints play Dust 2, it was against Windstrike in the game that secured them the spot for this stage of the major. They did have a decent CT side. I believe they got 11 or 10 rounds in that one. So if they can put up the same level of display, they should be feeling pretty good after first half.
Yeah, I agree. Ints' CT side has always been so good on Dust 2. Like you said, Hellraisers will likely have an equally as good CT side, especially with Woxic operating around on Cat, Long, B. I mean, he's going to get aggressive all over the map. That's one thing I'm a little bit nervous for Ints here, but I would favor Ints going into this one.
And I think that's a very fair assessment, Mr. Gares and Mr. Vinicky. It would sound like things are about ready to get underway here. Mind you, what did become quite the thorn in their side over against Renegades would have been Jacob. Now, that's not something you can account for in every loss or in every matchup. It's not the individuals that step up and perform that'll really put that thorn in your side, but I don't know that they're going to have that sort of firepower over on the side of Hellraiser.
They do, though. They have ISA and they have Voxic. I think, and I've said them numerous of times, I think those two are going to be the future of Counter-Strike within that region. They're super, super strong individually skilled. They're still young. They're still immature in many ways, but it seems to me like they're getting better and better tournament after tournament. Let's not forget Hellraisers last year had a lot of problems getting to tournaments as a team because of visa issues, because of all sorts of travel problems. This time around, though, it seems like this Hellraisers lineup actually has potential of making it far. Give them some time. Let's see how they perform here. And given the fact they have so strong individuals in Voxic, in ISA, and in Hobbit, no team should be resting on them.
But first round they took an L, and next round they look to bounce back. Sean Garrett, is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. I question whether they'll be able to do it. They do have so many young players, as does ENCE. I mean, ISA has yet to really come online the same way we saw at the last major. That is the biggest wild card for me, because I know Woxic will show up. I mean, I think he's such a dominant AWP player, but as a young rifler, it's hard to find consistency. So it's up to ISA, in my opinion, if Hellraiser wants to steal this one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I mean, you're spot on when you're saying consistency. I think that's one thing that classifies ENCE right now is the fact they have this strong foundation. They have consistency within their lineup, whereas for Hellraisers, we haven't really seen them play that much with this lineup, so we do not know whether they're going to be consistently good or consistently bad.
Yes, and consistency will be the word of the hour. Both these teams, again, battling back from an 0-1 showing here in the very, very, very beginning stages of the Legend stage itself. And, well, we do know the verdict to be of Dust 2. We do know of CT sides. We do know of aggressions. We do know of individual prowess and players that should be coming online to save the day here on either side. We've already highlighted Woxic. We've already highlighted ISA. We could talk about Sergey and the promising Finns over there and the Enceladus that is all of ENCE Esports.
Yeah, Sergey hasn't seen much action, to be honest, on the CT side. When I was watching ENCE play against Windstrike, when they had a dominant half, I think it was Ariel, Alexi B, and Alu. They combined for an insane amount of kills. Honestly, it was like 50 kills in the first half between them. So obviously the A site seems to be on lockdown, but they were struggling a little bit towards the B site. And Sergey in particular, that was his one weak map I saw at him.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting, right? Because you must assume that Hellraisers have seen that matchup as well. So they must have been thinking to themselves, all right, here we have some factors, here we have some points where we can try to take advantage of the situation. So whatever Sergey in a year of 16 years old is able to readjust and become better over time, that's going to be interesting to see how he's going to develop into that role. Because I do agree with you, he was not looking too sharp and it was his one weak point. But that also classifies a great player. If you're in the age of 16 and is able to progress throughout a tournament and get better at a certain role, you have a lot of potential to get better for the future.
Now, we do know that Alu is a recent dad, so to say. I'm not really sure how many kids he has, if maybe just one. Sean Garrett, maybe you can attest to this. Would that play a factor coming into today's matchup for ENCE, or perhaps just him as an individual?
I'm sure his mind, before the match, was not fully focused on Counter-Strike. But once you hit that server, only CS is right in front of you, you only hear your teammates' communication, it's pretty much impossible to not stay focused on the game at hand.
It's what I used to say, CS is the best medicine for a breakup, right? Because as soon as you are on the server, you think about nothing else than playing Counter-Strike. You're fully laser focused towards the game, and you don't think about all the other stuff going on in your life.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said that.
A little life advice for you right there.
Actually, any better than you have said it just now. And we do look like we're going to get the Hellraisers sat in. Hugs being exchanged well before the fact, as this could very well be a bloodbath. Or it could be the bloodbath that is that of Hellraisers putting the pain down. Now, I don't believe that we're quite ready. We don't need to knife round. We don't need any of that nonsense. We don't need to have an arm wrestle out here. In fact, anything upon anything at this point to get this matchup started would be just about what we're looking for. Or I could go along the lines of something where Northern Lights flash in the sky, a blizzard blows, pelting on its way, those too weak to withstand the fury of winter at its fullest. I could do that one, Sean, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary.
I think we should save it for when they advance through the stage, because ENCE, it's going to be easy for them, Trace.
I think it's going to be more tense for ENCE, if anything, if you think about it. I mean, obviously, I don't think that was been coined yet as a hashtag or anything. It's not really taken over the world, nor has this matchup indeed started. I think we, yet again, are on the precipice of a live-on-3 situation. Jacob?
If anything, it's going to be a hectic matchup, I feel. If anything, it's going to be one of those brawl fights where there's going to be a lot of pacing within the game. Who's going to take momentum? Who's going to take sharks of the game? Is it going to be ENCE with a strong CT side? Or can Hellraisers sort of break that down in the beginning and gain some of that momentum you need on a Dust 2 T side? I'm looking forward to see Hobbit. I'm looking forward to see Issa, Sergey for that matter as well. I think we have a lot of individual star players on the server as well. It should be a close and interesting one.
It should be, and you are here at the right exact time. I do have some very special commentators coming your way as this pistol round kicks off on Dust 2. It's going to be Machine and Sponge. Take it away, boys.
It would be my pleasure. Thank you so very much, Trace. And I'm not sure if you can hear me because I can't hear myself. I can now. I found the magical button. I'm joined by Chad, and we've already seen First Blood already. Aerial down. Sponge, we were told to keep our eyes on him as a win condition, according to Pimp, and he certainly has been both their very biggest asset and somewhat of a weak link at times.
Yeah, Natu actually has said the same, that this kid has a lot of potential, but as we kick things off here with the first man to fall towards mid, the second kill will come in as Woxic will find the head of Lexi B.
Let's see how this one shapes up. Already the round looking like it's over. Fantastic opening work from Woxic and closing as well. Bookend frags from their AWPer, just with the Glock, of course, to kick things started. And that's a T-side pistol in favor of the Razors of Hell.
Yeah, very quick approach. Usually going out long fast against USPs is the range of that is normally not ideal, but able to make the Glocks work in that scenario. And then pivot back as a unit. Group up in mid, trade out efficiently, and get the round on the board. That's the basics done well. Now, ENCE are opting for the Force Buy. Don't want to get stuck into this one early. Have the Scout on X7.
Ooh, how you feel about Force Buy D2?
I like a lot of Scouts on this map in the Force Buy. Maybe grab 2, you get a couple of CZs. Ali's able to get a UMP.
Oh, Alexi's getting a lot of punishment for that smoke. As soon as it went down, as soon as it bloomed, the bullets came through, cost him half of his health. Aggression in towards Tons. He's supported by Aerial, though. They've already done damage, but Angel, he's not going down without a fight. He does manage to keep hold of his AK very comfortably. The CT aggression rewarded by Alu, though. Pushes up on short. Issa was eliminated, but Woxic quick to trade. So numbers heavily favoring Hellraisers, both in cash and in players alive. Just Alexi B, who's still paying the price for his early aggression towards double doors, down to 31. And X7, that scout that Chad was so happy to see, is a little disconnected. Out on the A site, likely going to start the rotate, but no info to go off, and it should be a little Hellraisers 2-0.
Yeah, if they use the utility they have here just to smoke off the choke points, nade the back of the side, be very cautious in their approach. Alexi B should drop without getting too much done. But X7 actually cheated over. He's now towards middle. They're hedging towards this B bomb site.
Alexi, he's just going to try and play that waiting game. And yeah, this should at least render him one frag. No, running out of bullets. That's the CZ for you. 7 did catch 1, but that's the end of the round. Hobbit is going to secure the second and even a little bomb plant for an extra 300 pocket money. And we'll keep our eyes on ENCE. Likely an eco here, perhaps a couple of HEs, a smoke grenade if they're treating themselves. Am I reading that right?
Should just be the full eco, right? They want to, you know, they want to get the AWPs up. They want to get the full utility because it's shown already from Hellraisers they want to take a quick pace. Now, if they're able to hold on to these 2 MAC-10s, which they currently have in the hands of Hobbit and Issa, maybe we'll see a bonus round scenario come out where if they get a good mid spawn or a good B spawn, we'll just see a standard Dust 2 rush, which we love. But this one here should just be an absolute farm right now. As they push up mid towards Issa, he's going to get tagged on down. He will fall.
Oh dear! Woxic should be able to keep hold of this one. Thank goodness Deadfox is there, but Alexi B has found 2 with the USP. It's fun to say, even funner for ENCE fans, because now all of a sudden fun is not a word. 2 versus 2. And my goodness, things have gone from bad to worse for Hellraisers. Charge up middle. Alexi's made the AK work. It's now all on Hobbit. He's only got a MAC-10 and they're pre-aiming him. They managed to make the full eco. And I think they're going to convert it. Hobbit's got no health, no hope. And no life left. ENCE, they secure it with a CT charge up middle. Credit to Alexi B, though. They've been looking out for him. They say he's the fragger, and that double with the USP.
Yeah, normally what you see happen in those rounds, the CTs that don't have anything, didn't even have a flash to work with. They just push up mid, and they're meant to just drop in succession. But here, they're able to get so much done. It looked like Hellraisers were completely caught off guard by that. Issa wasn't even able to pull his gun out in time to get anything done from that mid cutout position. And now, it will be the first gun round as double AWPs will on the side of ENCE here. 1 in Alu's hands and 1 on Sergey.
Let's see how this one shapes up then. Only real sacrifice is Issa and of course utility. D2 perhaps though, one of the maps that you can get away with. Okay, Deadfox through the fire and flames does catch 1 by surprise. Sergey down. I don't know if he's going to get... Oh my goodness. This gamble from Deadfox pays huge amount of dividends. He's got himself an AWP, a sight, and 2 frags. This could very well be the round as well, converting, resetting ENCE back to nothing. As they're going to be scarpering away. Plant for tons and 2 there to hold it. That's enough.
If they hold on to these 2 weapons they have right now, Alex, a really positive sign here is X7 has enough money in the bank to buy himself, and Sergey should too, but don't worry about it, because Ali's going to fall to the AWP of Voxic, and now the hunt is on. They want to take Aerial out of the picture. If they can get this M4 out of his hands, then Ents just get reset back into things. He's going to find Angel, but it shouldn't be too long until they pin him down and make him pay for that.
Some Green Mile stuff talking about here, man. Jeez. Aerial on long is going to be holding onto his AK, wondering whether they're going to be willing. Hobbit knows time's over now. He can't really continue the hunt. Going to have to accept it. Does start a little bit of a rabid spray, but nothing to connect. And so Hellraisers, 3 to Ents 1. Not forgetting, of course, the CT side for the Finns, expecting to see somewhat of a lead garnered in the first half.
This is where the question comes in, because X7 has 5,200 and Sergey has 4K of his own. They already have bought the AWP. I can let everybody know while this replay is on, it will be the force up from Ents. This is fantastic play from Deadfox. I can see you questioning the Molotov play, because he was just standing in it for a while, but to push it when they weren't expecting it, and Woxic going to start things off with Sergey on the cross. That force buy already getting slammed as the B rush is on.
Oh, he has called the B push. X7, he's doing the flashbang dance, and Issa is here to break up the party. A quick headshot towards the hole in the wall. Angel already aggressive with the MAC-10, and this call, Chad, you said it's an ambitious call on the best of times, expecting big things from your individuals, but when you lose Sergey before the round's even begun trying to cross the site, that's just a tale of dismay. Not great for Ents, and they're going to be forced to try and keep hold of what they have left. Speaking of, it's just a bit of Kevlar for Alu, and the full setup from Aerial. A scavenged AK, of course, from the round prior.
Yeah, so just to note with that cross, sure, you know, they're going to smoke it, they're going to nade it, they're going to make it as easy for them to get across as possible, but some AWPers just have a knack for hitting tags, hitting the gap shot.
Did you know there's a practice map just for that shot?
Wow.
Yeah, I went on it on Workshop. You basically just have a bot that jumps across the doors at different angles repeatedly. Check it out if you're interested in doing what Voxic just did. Aerial, though, keep track of that. He has lost his weapon, and now Alu desperately clutching onto his Kevlar vest. Whew, a battle of survival, but he does do that.
Yeah, he hasn't really taken anything through in this round anyway. So if he had fallen, it's not the hugest of losses, really. But now Ents find themselves in a very interesting position.
Voxic, this high-sense gamer. Take a look at this. No info, pure intuition, and a whole little bit of luck as well.
Yeah, definitely luck on his side right there, but if he continues to do that as the game progresses, then we might have to transition that luck to pure skill of this AWP, tagging up Sergey again.
Hey, Ents won the round previously on just the pistols up mid. I don't think Voxic's going to let that happen. Now he's got the big, I was going to say green gun. Is rather more flamboyant than that, but Alexi B does what he did previously. Gets one with the USP. Fortunately, they stabilize. This as quick double will secure that. And now Hellraiser start to manufacture quite the lead here. 5-1 on their T side of Dust 2. Have they pulled anything out of the strat book yet? This feels rather just bread and butter.
A lot of spawn players, you know, they've had some simple but well-placed flashes that have helped them find some openings, as well as those frags from Voxic are surely influential right now. But a big question mark for me is how Ents going to respond, because this quick pace, it forces you to use a lot of utility early, and that conditions you for the late game. So if Hellraiser is going to continue this, which it looks like they are, Angel and Issa straight down the death alley as Voxic is the overseer, making sure they can't be tagged by an AWP. They've already got cat control, 1:45 left on the clock.
And I don't think they're going to stop there. Nades in their hands. It does look like they're going to start to flash their aggress. No one's there to receive them. Fortunately, there is going to be an AWP staring at that spot. Alu given the responsibility of holding short, but look at this. Angel not interested just yet. This is free control. They'll take it for now. We'll see how the round does continue to shape up. A 3-2 split for the CTs. Alu's going to be the first port of call.
Oh no, does he know they've crouched on under?
Plays anti-flash lovely. Smoke's going to stop him. And forced to back away. Drops off though, not too bad. A quick exchange of fire. Alu down to 60. Molly on site's not going to affect Lexi B. Nice angle with the AUG as well. Can catch them on the cross. But do keep track of that bomb, because it's certainly not on A.
It's an in-game leader's dream, Alex, to get cat control that early in the round without having any casualties. But Ents have done a fantastic job at holding on to a bit of utility. Aerial still has all of his grenades. But over towards this B bomb site is where the action is going to take place. Still 50 seconds left, but 4 players in tunnel about to explode through this smoke.
It's big cojones from X7. He's right next to that smoke, but the flash, he's let him slip away just a little bit. Walks away, fires off the warning shots. Now he's going to catch them through smoke. They're all bleeding internally. He did tag up another. That's not enough, though. Hobbit down to 4, but he's still on site. Bomb will go down. The molly to keep them at bay. Throws the bomb to his injured teammate. I worry he could get caught on the spray from Alexi here. No, safe and sound for now. It's a 3 versus 2.
Big duel here.
He has to win this. Aerial about to challenge. Nice bait, but the molly's there. Oh, no, it's not. Woxic, Butterfingers, slips up on the molly. Now chooses to go wide and makes up for it. 2v2. Pressure being applied to Hobbit now. He just has to survive, and he's going to catch him just as the flashbang pops. Just on alley out.
No kid either.
Yeah, he's going to start to back away, but punished again. Hobbit, how are you taking these fights? 4 HP, still willing to go. Look at that. That is an ambitious maneuver. They're starting to nurture quite the bank account here.
The protocol nades that are being used by Ents are actually getting used against them, exploding through their own smoke, pushing through their own Molotovs, expecting the guys from Hellraisers to respect the utility. But that's not what's happening. They're just taking the fight to them. They're still using this pace. They're going to have to go for an aggressive play. They have to lock this down. So we will see a pistol upgrade coming out right now, but hopefully they have some moves in their back pocket if you're an Ents fan to take the fight to Hellraisers, because right now it's their ballpark.
See how this one shapes up. Nades raining in Hobbit, but he does manage to kind of evade the majority. A nade of his own is going to soften up the CTs, and this should be a nice little cleanup. Issa shows up alongside him and just massacring the CT stack towards long. 3 bodies have already dropped. Just 1 remains. Alexi B staring at the corpse of his fallen comrades, chooses to relocate. And this will just be another, quote-unquote, easy round for Hellraisers.
One of the things that I was touching on earlier was the conditioning of Ents, right? If Hellraisers play so fast in this early stage, like I'm talking about, they have 2 choices. They can go aggressive and take the fight to them, boost some players' cat, you know, do one of their aggressive moves around middle or up a dark push, something along those lines. Or you have to use your utility very early all across the map. You can't expect B pushes. You know, you have to make sure that you're really isolating them so they can't take territory so quickly. The problem that becomes there is, if you use your utility early and they change it up and start playing slow and fake you out with a simple flash or HE, you're not going to have any utility left to defend in the late round.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be seeing too late in that round, of course, as that one does wrap up. So now, 7-1. 7 rounds in favor of Hellraisers.
This is so quick.
I mean, so what was your, be real with me, real expectations of Hellraisers? You would have had them significantly below Ents.
Look, I think Ents, you know, as a team have better fundamentals than Hellraisers. That's purely because they speak their native language, and I think that they've been working the ground up to get this point, whereas Hellraisers have constantly had to plug the hole with the players in the team. But
it's interesting that you mentioned just native language, just because I have a fantastic quote from Angel I'll talk to you about in just a moment, because at the moment, they are charging.
Sergey's been hit again, Alex.
Okay, he's actually starting to scream now. He's even gone for the double AWP. That's a huge investment that now only has 19 points of health to work with, but he does work with it. Misses an easy one. That's going to cost him, and that could cost him the round. Now the site's open. Smokes are starting to be deployed. Bomb is present in the hands of Issa, and it's all on Alexi to catch him on the cross. I don't think he caught a glimpse of Issa now. Nade will be there, but it won't be enough. Won't do anything, actually. Must have just whistled past Issa.
They have to save. I don't know how they're going to get back into this round. They are. They're scampering out of town. Tucking their tail between their legs, and they're going to go back towards long to save. They know that that is clear, but Aerial has made the route of escape even easier.
That's a way out. It's also an AWP on the floor. Woxic's going to be not too worried about that. $13,000 in the bank account as well. Likely going to be picked up by their teammates if they can, but the CTs do look to save towards Pit and Long. They'll be keeping the hold of their weapons, and the Ts just gracefully exit with another round. Hellraisers, 8.
Just quickly, with that AWP battle that's been going on, and it's not even a battle, it's just Woxic hitting the side of Sergey every time he wants to cross. What starts to happen here is you maybe smoke and then you wait until you hear the shot and then you cross, but then that's going to allow the Ts just to go faster B because you're crossing so late. So the solution right now for Ents, it's not an easy one to solve, Alex.
It certainly isn't. I think this is just credit to Woxic. He single-handedly is starting to condition Sergey, if not Ents, that those double doors, it's not a guarantee to get across scot-free. See how this timeout pays off for them. It's going to be Ents' first of this game. Of course, a best of 1, but don't forget, we are in the loser category. Hellraisers were demolished on Train versus FaZe Clan in their opening game, and it was a close one, but Ents falling to Renegades to put them here. You have to secure 1 to avoid the minor system. Both of these teams are no stranger to it. Of course, Hellraisers, they managed to get here on their own merit over in London. Ents, however, through the challenges, and they want to secure a spot back there next time. A win here would do so, but right now it's not looking too great. Woxic not going to connect this time. Issa, though, look at this. He is known for his aggression. He's known for this fearless attitude, especially on that T side. But speaking of, look at Aerial. No fear, Chad.
That's a massive risk. He's on his own. There's no trade potential, but
he has some support-ish.
Yeah, look, if they're not in his line of sight, he can't do anything about that, but Woxic might get caught off guard here. I don't think he'll be expecting anyone to push up this far.
I certainly wouldn't. Oh, but Woxic! He's got a mouse mat the size of a postage stamp, but he can still hit shots like that. Aerial caught off guard.
How does he hit that?
3 challenging towards X7 and Sergey. This is where the AUG can come into its own, but it's all about that AK aim. Chooses to go evasive. It's all on X7. Their aim was drawn for just a moment, but again, the B site open. ENCE need to work this out. Why can they not hold B?
I have no idea what's going on towards the side. They're not ready for the heads-up duels. Dead Fox is normally a player on this team of Hellraisers who's critiqued for just more being a support player, not having a lot of impact until we get to the later stages, and then he finds a miraculous 3-piece. But over towards this B bomb site, entering in time and time again, they're taking advantage of the fact that Sergey, he's been tagged up a lot, and X7's not able to get anything done. They're just walking in on this guy and taking him down every time.
I just want to check the scoreboard, see where that... Yeah, so Sergey has really been struggling. I mean, he has 2 kills to his name, 10 deaths. He's died every round of play so far, and a big part of that, of course, on that B site. In the meantime, Alu is going to get caught out. Another death for him, and it's down to Alexi to keep hold of the AUG, and he actually may not have a guarantee. Woxic, that is ambitious, okay. He's got no health.
He's making it look way too easy, but at this point of the game,
good God.
ENCE are in a position where they don't have enough money for a full buy, but they also don't have any rounds on the board. So as an in-game leader at this point, you have to just start calling the buy rounds and making the best of a bad situation. And that's what's going to happen. As I can see right here, that Alu's bought into the AWP. We've got 2 AUGs coming up on X7 and Sergey. And Aerial and Alexi B have been left on UMPs. This is not optimal at all. Again.
Woxic, you are just... He's been on the workshop map, I'm calling it. Either that or he's a good player. You know, that's another option. But spectacular work from the Turkish AWP. Repeat from Alu, looking to challenge with low HP and now likely to be punished if he goes again. Angel present on double doors, chooses not to.
They've really, you know, bolstered that B defense. Alu over there on the AWP and the 2 AUGs, that leaves UMPs to defend A. They are not the best weapons because you have to take long duels towards when they're crossing long. You know, if they want to push up Cat and you're playing from the side, that's not a fight you can take. So they've opted to play close short here, Alex.
They do work short though, and this is going to be Aerial has to get one here, maybe get away without the trade. That's a flash, that's a frag, and there's the trade. Angel does manage to keep things level, and that was what he was looking to avoid because that puts a whole lot of pressure on Alexi should they hit A. Smoke, enough to regain control of short. Bomb, however, is going elsewhere. Pressure towards mid. Who's there? Who is responsible for that?
We got X7 from B doors, Alu back up plat, and Alexi Cat. He's going to find more contact here. Angel on low HP. That nade's going to take him down. He's going to fall. Now we have a 3-on-3. Still 40 seconds left on the clock, so plenty of time for Hellraisers to work. There's no rush for them to get into this.
Yeah, Molly keeps him at bay again. 30 seconds. And this is probably the closest they've come to a shot and finding their second round here in quite some time. Alexi B, though, he's not in an optimal position should they hit that short.
Alexi B doesn't consider long, and Hobbit's about to peek him.
Oh, this is a problem. This is a huge problem. He's all they've got, and it's taken away from them. Hobbit even applying pressure to the middle. He might even get it. He does. X7 core. Alu, of course, that damage done by Woxic at the very start of the round comes back to haunt him. This dream of a potential clutch taken from him before he can even think about it. 2 frags to his name so far. 18 ADR. Where is Alu? Missing posters across Dust 2. That's the 10th. Hellraisers, fantastic work from them. This is the T side of Dust 2, and they are looking so comfortable. As is Hobbit in the Hellraisers jersey. I mean, this is still relatively new. Such a mix of nationalities. You've got Ukraine, Hungary, Turkey, Jordan, and now Kazakhstan. What a mix. Angel on record saying that a team that doesn't speak their native language works at only 80% of their potential. In a recent interview with HLTV, well, it certainly seems like 80% is enough versus ENCE here.
Pass long again. Issa gets out with ease, and it's just the pistols to deal with this time. I can't see ENCE winning any rounds here, Alex. There's no signs of life. They're not winning any duels. They can't establish any map control. They're playing catch-up in the massive of senses. You hear when I talk on the desk, you know, when teams are playing quite quickly and they're being very decisive, you have to make a decision to stop that. But if you allow them to snowball, like we've seen happen here over these 11 rounds, ENCE are flustered. ENCE don't know where the solution is. They don't know how to fix the problem.
Chad, correct me if I'm wrong. They won the pistol, right? Like USP nonsense round, right?
That's
the only round they've won was a mid-rush with USPs against a buy?
This
is
so flat from them. They're not putting up any type of fight.
Well, let's see. Let's see. It's not over yet. Ents know that as well, but I would perhaps consider using those timeouts more effectively in the second half because they're going to have to do something quite miraculous on their T side. CT battered and bruised so far. Their defense has done very little to keep Hellraisers at bay. And now, interestingly enough, Hellraisers have slowed it down. They know they're against pistols, or at least they know the money's tight. And Angels made the call. Take your time. Don't fall into any P250s in corners. Don't push through a smoke and be met by 4 CTs. Just take your time. And taking their time, they will. Speaking of, 20 seconds. They should have plenty of time to get that bomb down. There's no pressure on site. And it is currently in the grasp of Angel.
At this point, you're not even trying to do damage to the economy. You can't. Like, look at how much money Hellraisers have in the bank. Everybody besides Angel has well over 10K.
At this point, I don't think the conversation's about economy. The conversation's purely about
rounds.
Where are they? To find them. At least Sergey's hitting shots. That's a positive sign for rounds to come. Takes Woxic out of the equation now. Issa, surely you don't need to give them those challenges. Your weapons are worth significantly more than theirs. And Dead Fox pretty low, and now Issa's lost it again. Orp left, but don't think it's going to be a grand scheme problem, as Chadisa rightly pointed out. I mean, they've got buys for days, right? They could be leaving auto snipers in spawn at this rate.
Yeah, and the loss bonus is maxed on out here for Ents, right? So they're going to be able to keep getting buys if they take some relatively, I guess, light pistol rounds like we just saw there. So now they can bring out all the goodies. They can get everything they want. We've seen this double AWP setup. I think this will be the 3rd time. Sergey hasn't even had a chance to really use it. He had 1 kill on a player coming out mid to B, but then they just pounce through upper dark. So they make him look towards middle, and before you know it, they're pushing through the molly, they're pushing through the smoke, they're in the face of X7 as the B defender, and that bomb site crumbles. And now they're just going back to the standard, the 2-3 default.
Nothing from Woxic this time. I guess there's a first time for everything. So successful on double doors. Issa gets across. CT's likely aware of it though, or at least consider it. But Alu, there it is. Fast blast onto Angel, who started to challenge short, perhaps not even with his gun out. Issa in the meantime catches Aerial on the cross. No pit for you. Alu found his 3rd frag at the start of this round. Let's see if he can find a 4th.
Here's another problem. Because they're playing so defensive in this B bomb site, the rotation to A, where we can see 4 players are, as Alu's going to find another, is so far away. So if Hellraisers pulled the trigger and just accelerated on the A attack, it would have been a 2v4. But right now, they're finding themselves, I was going to say with the number advantage, but hold up a second.
Watch out for Woxic. He is on, as is Dead Fox. Catches a fantastic spray through X7. Every bullet connecting the final to the brain. Numbers, once again, disadvantage for Ents, and they just take the fights. Where are they? Where are they? Alu, Aerial, Alexi B, Sergey, and X7. They managed to, of course, get through the Challenger stage with a win versus Windstrike, G2, and Spirit. Losing to Renegades twice, no less.
That resume is not very impressive, is it?
No. Looking at this, perhaps expectations set a little high for Ents. We're going to have to see whether they can weather this storm. Not forgetting this would put them 0-2. A reverse sweep would be necessary to get to the next stage. That's a cruel reality, and another tag from Woxic. Never mind, it wasn't. Who was that double AWP? Dead Fox. Of course, used to be the primary AWPer what feels like millennia ago. In the meantime, Sergey's made the scout work. That's a real solid leg up as a second comes in. Winning the fights.
Yeah, they've thrown caution to the wind this round. X7 is normally the B player. He's gone long. He pushed all the way into bedroom, and now he's fallen back to Cat. We have Alexi B over towards the B-bomb site, and Sergey taking Jules with a scout in middle. So the call is, nothing's working, do whatever you want.
Which often, the sod's law seems to find more success. Nothing's working, just do what you want. Somewhat a commentary on the tactical nature of Counter-Strike, but sometimes it's about feel, and Hobbit certainly feeling himself as he finds Alu on short. X7 though, he's only got a UMP. It's not a duel he can win, certainly not 2 or not 3 Ts, and the Molotov forces them back. They've got so much time. No commitment necessary at this point as they try and claw back the round. It's round 14 here, best of 1. Need I remind you, Hobbit quick bullet to guise that drop. Nothing close though.
Oh, he has the bomb here. He's going to have to go with his teammates. I think getting stuck in no man's land would be a big no-no, but both B players are bleeding very badly. 31 HP for Sergey and 30 for Alexi.
Yeah, Issa did get caught by that scout shot, and this is working lovely. Nice bit of teamwork. Alexi B with the Molotov, but that's only going to last so long. Now they're running out of options, though. Hellraiser's surely going to have to back out of this one, and it's going to be just down to Hobbit. No health, and there's the second. And they break the drought. It's merely a shower, though. Not really too much to write home about. Second round now for Ents. They need the third. And my goodness,
X7 wasn't even able to scramble one of the dropped weapons there. He's stuck with the UMP that he had in that last round. So what we felt could have been a round where they could have all gotten some upgraded weaponry is not to be. But it is the last round, as you mentioned, and they have to buy whatever they can. Sergey has an AUG. Alexi B deciding what he wants to buy right now. He hasn't invested into anything.
Uh-oh. Did you see what I saw? An auto sniper or two, perhaps, to end this one from Hellraisers.
It's not too bad. I think a counter to knowing teams in the last round of a half who are going to go for this is to go for an early cat boost, because you know a lot of people are going to have their eyes on mid, right? Remember back when Fnatic did it, they had all 5 players focused on middle. If you go for a mid smoke and you boost some players cat and you go aggressive, you're going to catch them out of position because they're trying to be cheeky in that last round.
Of course, the luxury is they have the funds. They can take this for the fun and then switch back to what they intend to use. And as this barrage of bullets hails towards middle, nothing comes of it. And so things, once again, reach sanity for AKs instead, and the AWP for Woxic.
This feels like a normal round of Counter-Strike. There's no explosion play coming out from the Ts. The default was being established. The CTs are set up without too much harassment. But Hellraisers have basically full utility. And it looks like they want to go bully that B bomb site some more. X7 has still been relegated over towards holding long, and Alexi B has taken that position in tow. That's going to be a call from the in-game leader. You're not getting the job done, mate. I'll do it myself.
B has been such a problem for Ents. They haven't been able to keep hold of it. And now Alexi B and Sergey tested once again. Great connection from Sergey. Alexi needs to do the same, and they do. A double from Sergey. Looking for 3. Woxic's not going to make it easy. Back into the site, the AWP, the entry fragger, it's Woxic, of course it is. Back to Tons, it's going to be his responsibility. The bomb's not going to be down for him, and therefore more closing in on keeping Angel safe. 2 CTs just on the other side of that wall. Every noise you make will be heard, and he knows it. The Molotov's going to make plenty of noise. That's so much info. They're pushing through it, and Angel, softened up, is going to find both. Alu, he's there as well. He's only got the AWP. This is going to be 13 for Hellraisers unless this man does something absolutely crazy. Goes wide. It's not good enough. No time. No hope. And Woxic seals the deal. 13, and that's a very happy Hellraisers. My goodness, what a half, Chad.
New coach Amy behind them used to just be the analyst. He got a bit of an upgrader's role as Jonta is no longer with them. Happy there after a 13-2 half. How could you not be smiling after that one?
This round reset them. Dead Fox, some heroics through the Molotov, and that does secure a huge lead for Hellraisers. Look at the close it out. We're going to take a quick one. When we come back, we'll find out if Ents have got anything left.
They all want to meet Neymar. But me, I am Neymar.
Ronaldo's the best striker in the world. I want him to play centre-back. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. The Champions League final. That's right, James. What's going on here? We'll take it from here.
For the players.
We are close. We are so close.
Hellraisers 13, Ents 2. You are reading that correctly. Do not adjust your TV screens. This is reality. Ents going to be looking down the barrel of 0 and 2. One more loss potentially, and they would be eliminated after what was a considerable struggle in the Challenger stage. They did overcome it, but Legends, is it proving too much? Joined by Chad Sponge Birchall. I hate that. I'm sorry. I hate that I did
That's
that.
fine.
Yep.
Closing has been the issue for Ents in the past, but they're not even close to having a chance to close the game. As on the T side here, looks like they're going to be dictated to even more. Angel going for a very quick low dark push with Issa in tow.
I don't think Alu's going to be expecting it. Certainly not 2. Perhaps 1. The call made, of course, no mid info there. 3 of them stacked up, though. Ents have the numbers, and Alu is just training his eyes. I say that. This could be exploited. It's all about timing. And what is this? A triple moonwalk!
A call must have been made from the player in T-spawn that they did spot something towards the end there, but it doesn't really matter because they still have so much information.
They do have a degree of long control. Would you call that long control? Aerial's up there.
Yeah, the thing is, with the smoke and the flash to cross, we know that a gap is left unless you can get that double smoke combo down. The player over towards top of A is Hobbit. He's going to set off the alarm bells when he does spot the T's swinging around the corner.
I love that they left him there. That's cool. They left Alu as this kind of B info. He's got his ears peeled. That's a thing, I promise.
It's strange that Hellraisers are holding this formation for so long, but now that Hobbit's spotted something, it has to change.
Yeah, Hobbit's going to make the call. So many numbers throwing at him, and he's just going to have to try and back off. They know they could... Oh, what a shot from Woxic. My goodness. That did look almost inhuman. A quick tap, 1 shot, 1 kill. Now 4v4, but the retake is coming in before the bomb even goes down. They start their charge. Alu's punishing all of them, though. Body shots, just Glock bullets pummeling into the rib cages of Hellraisers. A bit of a stability brought by Woxic, but now 1v2. Angel, he's been shot in the backside. It's Alu again. 3 to his name in that round. He's almost doubled his kills in 1 round alone, Chad.
Yeah, and that flank that you pointed out was the key to success there. Nobody from Hellraisers was even expecting it. And that must be off the information the T-spawn player was able to gather.
Oh, we talked about it, didn't we? He was like that signal beacon. He was truly just left to his own devices, and he played it perfectly. A luck. We might even be able to see this again.
With the force buy we have coming out right now, Alex, the 2 scouts, this is optimal for me because there's so many positions you can take these jewels from. If you tag them up, they become very shy, I guess, when you want to hit a bomb site. They don't want to, you know, pick that corner so wide. They're a little bit slower in their approach, and that's when the CZs, that MP9 of Angel, that's when they can really get stuck in and do some work.
So at the moment, the T's relatively passive, just aerial, kind of away from the herd. He's just going to be trying to get some info towards Tons.
Normally when you see and hear the scouts on the board, which they have done, you want to use your utility, right? Xbox smoke is perfect. Then you can get cat control. Then you can, you know, use a couple of simple smokes to force them into awkward duels. Once you can find a position where you can take a fair fight, that scout, it doesn't become so scary because you got those AK-47s on board.
Ooh, Issa catches the bullet through the doors, and this is that reserved second round that puts a smile on Chad's face. Not taking any risks, not walking into any scouts early.
The danger doesn't begin just yet. They have cat control.
Sure.
This is positive, but it's from this point on of how they want to tackle this. They don't have any smokes left, so they have to flash and fight.
Who's the fight coming from? Let's have a look. Woxic's holding the line with his scout. No doubt he'll be hitting some shots. Perhaps softening them up for Issa. Does already take 1 down. It's going to be Alexi B down to 30. They start the cross and Alexa, don't know what I'm talking about there. Either way, X7. Subliminal messaging here. Sergey catches Angel's aggression up mid, and this should be it. Alexi B, perhaps, was where my brain was taking that one as the bomb does go down from him, and this should be the end of the round. That little bit of long aggression late from Hobbit is not met, but Dead Fox takes Sergey out. So, a round likely to Ents. But the CTs, they're going to get some weaponry from this, and they're taking plenty of it away from Ents.
You have to notice as well the pistols, which they just upgraded. Dead Fox swapped over to a CZ75, and Issa had the Deagle that he started with. They can drop those across to 2 other players, and now we're in business again. The AK-47 in the hands of the best player of the team. He can definitely get some work done there. And that scout, we just saw how much damage is done. Look at the bottom right. See the HP right now of Ents. When they push that bridge position, right? Yeah. And Woxic's standing there at mid-long. That's a hold your breath moment. Because if he wins one of those shots, that completely stifles the push into the site. He can reposition and take another duel. So Ents have a very long way to go here. They need to clean up some of these rounds against the lower buys.
So Hellraisers, they don't have to rush this. And I'm sure that's a conversation that they don't even need to have. Just see what we get with this buy and wait until everything's comfortable. The full buy can come in and we'll get those last 3. Just 3 is all they need. But ENCE, if they were to come back, they're doing it in the right direction, of course. Winning that pistol, converting, and the climb begins. See how this one shapes up. I think are we in a timeout right now? Must be.
I think this is technical, just from what I can see in the server right now.
Okay.
And the players aren't saying anything, which normally leads to that being the case.
Well, you know, the desk often talks about ENCE, yourself included, about how they are a team that can get ahead early. In fact, Sean even talked that he worries when he sees ENCE getting ahead early. Well, quite the contrary now. And perhaps we get to see another facet of ENCE's gameplay. If they do bring this back, then that's something that many needed to see to back ENCE in the future.
Yeah, well, look, the biggest problem for me was, look, the loss to Renegades, not the end of the world. I'm not talking about the opening one here, I'm talking during the Challenger stage. But the fact that they had a 14-1 lead against Windstrike on Train from the CT side, and Windstrike were able to bring it all the way back to 16-12, that's the alarm bells. Because the one thing that I've always you know, had the caveat with ENCE is, yeah, they have the fundamentals. Yeah, they're on an upward trajectory. But the problem is, they don't have a closer in the team. And that closer comes with experience, and that's Alu. Now, being an AWPer, it's so much more difficult to get into positions where you can brawl and, you know, get a nice 3-piece, and you're able to win around with an exciting clutch. AWPers, when they do it, it's few and far between. That's why people blow your mind, Alex.
They certainly do. And I'm hoping to see my mind blown once again by ENCE. So like we're going to be getting back into this one. Issues resolved. And let's see just how close can this one become.
An interesting buy coming out from the side of Hellraisers. And when I say buy, only one player is actually truly invested in a weapon, and that's Hobbit.
So this is...
It's an MP5, so it's a light investment around that saved AK. They drop the pistols across, and this is all done from just Dead Fox and Issa staying alive in the previous.
Okay, bomb and hit the majority of ENCE heading towards that B site. There's only one to receive them right now, so keep your eyes on that. It will be down to Dead Fox should they come, just a deagle. Starting to try and craft something here in round 18. Alexi B going to be that scout, the only player with the SMG. He's hoping to exploit that. A couple of naked CTs, no Kevlar on Dead Fox and Angel. A Team Molotov close, hoping to clear out those close angles, and nothing too much for the CTs to go off. They know there's presence up mid, and that's where Issa is positioned. Has Angel for a supporting flash. Is he going to get a peek on this? He is! Oh my goodness, just the one, but heavily tags up Alexi B as well. The CT starting their rotate. They know A is going to be exploited here. Angel is really not in a dream scenario, especially with the weapon at hand. Just a CZ tagged up, but Alexi B's nade will finish that job. Now Alu, he knows there's a Woxic down there and chooses to take the fight close quarters. Not to convert though. Numbers depleting once again. This should be ENCE finishing this one off, and they certainly do. Woxic just a tag. Close quarters with the scout. That's all he'll be bringing out of that round.
I know this sounds strange, but ENCE have weathered the storm of the scarier rounds. Because if they were to drop one of those, that's the half done and dusted. That's them completely getting blown out of the server. Now they really have a chance to mount this comeback. If they can win this gun round, force Hellraiser's economy back down into the bin.
I don't think I'm ready to start talking about comeback.
No, you're right, but it needs to start here.
Absolutely. I think the conversation is more about making it respectable, finding your feet for the next game, because my goodness. If you concede the next 3, I don't know if you're ready for your next game, your elimination game. Best of 3, of course. 6-7 in the meantime, game challenged on long. Looking for more with the Galil, but it's not enough. That's long neutralized. A, safe. Great work from the CTs here. Hobbit and Issa found the first. Woxic in the meantime was keeping short safe, and now it's just Aerial and Alexi B. Sure, that's some control up mid, but it is 2 versus 4. They have to go above the line of duty, and I love this angle from Dead Fox. He is going to be flashed. He is going to be fragged. We've got something here, Chad.
Fantastic teamwork under pressure there. The bomb will go down, and the Molotov is going to come in very handy on Aerial here, as well as the smoke from Alexi. This is going to delay a choke point or 2.
So paranoid about tunnels. They just don't have the resources to safely cover all of those entrances. They're going to give it their best shot, though.
That molly's very deep.
They chose to push through it before. Kit is not present, if my eyes don't deceive me, which makes things very awkward for Hellraisers. They start their push. Here we go. Alexi B, where's the cover? Aerial gets 1, but that's enough. They clean it up, and have they got time? I don't think they do. Scarpa, get out of there. ENCE found their 6th. Where was the kit? Not a single one purchased, of course, admittedly. They were only buying, what, an MP5 at that start of that round?
Okay, well, that isn't the ideal way you want that to go down. They found themselves in such... I am lost for words there.
You're speechless.
They must have known that there was no kit on the board, but they still postured for such a long period of time based off 2 simple bits of utility. They had the number advantage. Even if they had sent someone in as a bit of a martyr just to draw the attention, they could have traded. But they did save some guns.
A delayed retake with no kit didn't work out for Hellraisers.
That could be the 20% lacking that Angel alluded to. As Alu's going to open up the board here onto Angel towards Long.
This CT side is limping right now. Just an AWP and an AUG to work with here on round 20. ENCE in pursuit of round 7. Slow and steady. Going to count on Ali, who's already drawn first blood, and that's fantastic work. Aggression towards Long. But where do they go from here?
An aggressive CT move has to come in, and Woxic's taking matters into his own hands. He's going to creeping up Cat here, has a nice aggressive line. The Fiffy line, we used to call that. And actually will be a Cat take. They can Molotov him off this position. You can do a safe one from around the corner. If you flash, he'll pick on your flash. As you can notice here that he's just checking every now and again, but he's mainly looking into the wall.
He's essentially just anti-flash permanently.
He has no help though. Hobbit is in spawn. They're hedging that this is either going to be a B or a mid to B play, but it will be over towards A as Sergey at this point is taking bedroom control and X7 has rotated out of dark. It all lies on Woxic here.
In the meantime, the B defense there, utilizing their utility. Sounds stupid. Woxic in the meantime, that's the Molotov you were talking about. What is this decision? What are you doing? Tries to moonwalk aggressively towards the T's, and it's not gone well for Woxic. Perhaps his teammate Hobbit can peel back just a little bit of this attack, because at the moment it's only an MP9. He's backing away. They have Long, and they have the round. He's out of that. That should be 7 for ENCE.
If I can just note why he felt the need to make that play is he had no idea what was going on towards Long. They didn't have eyes over there. Sure, Hobbit could see it from CT spawn, but if he had dropped out, he may have been caught in a crossfire regardless. So the risk to make a play, he knew that if he made a kill or two, his teammates had a chance. If he went down, he was probably dead either way, right? So sure, he could have dropped CT spawn and they could have saved, but to fight for this, to actually make a game of it...
That was his only option.
That was the plan. That was the play. He realized that there was so much pressure on him to make some kills there that if they wanted to be in this round, he had to deliver.
And as the Molotov landed, it was a question of, hey, you've got less than a second to decide what you're going to do about this.
And I don't mind that considering how many rounds they have or had to work with. As ENCE now are going to find their way up to 7 on the board to the 13 of Hellraisers. This is going to be a huge comeback considering we've seen the swing towards CT side from the majority of their maps due to, some might say, the AUG.
Did they get that AK? No. Okay, I thought that was going to be cool. Hobbit was trying to shoot the T's weapon up the B ramp, but I don't think they were willing to take that risk. There was a player hunting them in CT.
So now with the max loss bonus, well, they had it 1 round earlier because of the adjustment in the money system.
Yeah.
But Hellraisers are able to get another full gun round going on. Still a compromise for Hobbit, who finds himself with an MP9. But it's a faster approach right now from ENCE as they've sent 4 members over towards Dark early. Sergey left.
There is such a contrast between the two T sides. Chad, when we were watching Hellraisers, they were doing what felt like very aggressive, very quick takes onto sites. At the moment, very slow and steady from ENCE, but it has been rewarded. Don't forget, Hellraisers yet to get around here on the CT side.
I'm not sure if Hellraiser's game plan on the T side was to keep the aggression the whole time, but it didn't stop working, so there was no point changing. The mid to B play is on the cards as 3 players have postured out middle. They haven't thrown a mid to B smoke, so they haven't given away their positions just yet. But Hobbit playing close cat means that you can always push out for a fast flank from that position. That's why Alexi B is making sure nobody wants to get too curious.
Okay, Molotov exchanged. Both of them just warming their opponents.
Tennis match.
Speaking of warm hands, have you seen the little radiators the players have on their desks?
It's a nice cool addition, isn't it?
Yeah, well, warm edition.
But
thank you. 2 drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff. Starting to aggress now. This is going to be the first. He has to get more than 1 hit. That's enough. Now backs away. Gets away with his life and health. Now he finds the double, but Ariel and Sergey respond in kind. Aggression through the smoke from Woxic does get traded, but he did find 1, and now Angel is here. This is a chaotic round, but it ends with Hellraisers finding their first My goodness, that was 9 frags in less than 15 seconds.
I was about to praise ENCE. It looked like they were going to win that round because they'd milked so much utility, right? They were forcing Hellraisers to throw everything they had. So when you get to that late round situation where ENCE have all the goodies left in their back pocket, they can flash, they can push them offline. At that point, I thought, all right, ENCE have done their job here. But the heads-up play, Issa being the star he is, shuts down that mid to B from the window position.
Did Aerial just wallbang Issa? No, okay. Where did that kill come through secondly? I'll check in a minute. At the moment, Sergey goes wide on long and finds Hobbit early. They're getting caught out there repeatedly. Alu previously, this time Sergey. The long hold from Hellraisers has been suboptimal. Now that we're going to see a little bit of wind beneath their wings, they're starting to charge. Molotov's awkward. Angel's burning to death right now. Angel, get out of the flames! Alexi B takes him. The flash combination was too much. Now 3 versus 2. ENCE once again with the lead.
ENCE can really slow here, Alex. There's still a minute 20 left on the clock. They don't have to run anything. But Woxic will. He pushes, almost gets the kill. Sergey respawns in time.
This is a problem. Dead Foxys just can't do this one. He's got so much to check, so much to push. He knows there's one long, he knows there's one likely site. Certainly does now as the bomb does start to go down. Aerial behind him, takes it wide, and Sergey finds another. 3 in the round. He opens it, he closes it, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered. Where have you been, Sergey? We need more from that. More of that from you.
We call that a hard reset in the business.
Oh, really? That's the technical term, because they are down to scraps.
Yeah. When you eventually win around on that CT side, if you're unable to convert, if you're unable to continue winning rounds, you're going to get set back to that original loss bonus, which will be $1,400. So you can see that's why they're only dealing with, most players here are 2K and less. Sorry, 2.5K and less. You've got Hobbit who has the most with 3.
Wow. If you didn't catch that stat, by the way, we'll get to see Woxic here with some spectacular AWPing. I think he actually gets another one here. So in that replay, Woxic got the same amount of AWP frags as Alu. In total, 17 to the name of Woxic. Alu quite quiet with the AWP. But this is a team game, and ENCE have had a resounding T side. Let's not forget, 13-2 on the half in favor of Hellraisers. We find ourselves now at 14-8. And Hellraisers are going to taste their own medicine. Alu catches Dead Fox through the doors. He's going to be forced to defend B with 10 points of health, if he even gets that far. Looks like they're going to be stacking up with these pistols and just hoping to maybe scavenge an AK out of this round.
Yeah, part of me wants to just talk over this round.
Let's do it then.
Well, here's the thing. I want to do that, but we saw ENCE win a full USP round in the first half, so maybe we'll give this one a little bit more respect. So Sergey is going to be, I was going to say greeted with some guests, but there's Alu who's caught with his pants down. The AWP will be dropped.
Surely it finishes here. Sergey, he's not going to mess this up. He knows they're low. By low, of course, I mean no armor, no weapon. Dead Fox hunted in tons, and now can I ask you a question?
Yeah, it can definitely right? simmer at this point.
Okay, thank you. Angel, recent statement, really interesting to me. He says, I have not left my mark on the history of CSGO. I'm still on my way. I hope I have enough time. Does that not feel like something out of a Marvel comic?
Is he like a hero, or are you looking at him as like a villain?
I'm saying he's Peter Parker before the radioactive spider bit. That's what I'm saying.
Is Simple the radioactive spider?
You know what? If I had to describe him as a radioactive animal, I think he would be.
Yeah, look, I can understand that because Angel's been an in-game leader for feeding stars to other teams, you know? Yeah. He's had players come in, you know, he's put them in the system, it's worked, and then they've gone elsewhere. So he hasn't ever been part of a squad with all the stars. He's had to look for talent. He's had to really dig deep and try and find players like Woxic and Issa.
I mean, Hellraisers is testament to his talent nurturing abilities. This is a team that are coming as current legends. They secured this spot at the previous major and now are making ENCE sweat. They certainly were in the first half. Right now, it seems to be quite a two-horse race. ENCE back in this one.
There's a problem with this buy coming out from Hellraisers is they have 3 Famouses on the board. I had a teammate, Alex, who'd prefer to buy the UMP than a Famous, so...
A teammate called Chad Sponge Birchill.
No, that was Azza. He actually said the Famous was probably the worst gun in the game. That was about 4 years ago now, but...
Still not seen in a good light by many. 3 of them on the side of Hellraisers. Let's see if they can keep this CT side together, find their 15th that's been eluding them. As was the 14th until recently, of course.
The problem here is they don't have anybody babysitting long. If
here they come.
Angel gets aggressive and finds information, he might get stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Woxic has to do something quite special here. He does have the cross, but I think Alexi B's lining up something, a little special treat coming his way. It could be a bit of a nade exchange. Woxic on the FAMAS. He does have the Molotov. It's going to go just about in the right direction. It's going to tickle the toes of Aerial, but he is getting pressured. Trying to go wide, but I don't think he's expecting this. They're already on site. He gets one. Surely not a second one. Woxic has to survive. It is truly bloodshed central on this A side, but I think they're getting away with it. The CTs, they hold fast. LXCB has to do more than that. 2 versus 3. Woxic does fall to LXCB's AK, but it's all on him now. Has to get 2 more. Looking for the 4K in the round. He gets forced out by the Molotov, and I can hear Hellraisers from here. 15 is found as they are now looking to secure what will be a very important round. 1-1, this would put them. It sounds a whole lot better than 0-2, Chad.
This has been a little bit more convincing from Ents, but only 9 rounds on the board, facing match point, game point. They're not really the type of team who I can see bringing this back.
Yeah, I think their fate very well could be sealed. Hellraisers have managed to do enough. More respectable, certainly. Their T side rendering significantly more rounds than it was of their defense. Just 2 rounds on CT Dust 2. They're going to have to definitely get their eyes on the demo, work out where it all went wrong. It started certainly with Woxic and his fantastic AWPing. Aerial trying to get across. It's a bit clunky, and I think they know. Sergey, in the meantime, is doing all the work for him. Hobbit and Angel eliminated. Woxic forced into a very uncomfortable circumstance with the sword, but he could have a chance. On the edge of the smoke, they emerge, and again, his off angle sends him off home. Issa, in the meantime, finds 1, but that's not going to be anything. That's going to be the round for Ents. The CTs just having a conversation.
Felt like a magical moment was coming in there from Woxic when you saw him in that position.
But I swear, no, you never switch to another AWPer who finds himself in positions like that. You know, we cut to Woxic, he's facing a Molotov, running at 3 people with his back turned with an AWP. Cut to Woxic, and he's in the middle of long with an AWP in a smoke. He's definitely got a different approach, a different take, and it's got him 28 frags. So I really am not one to judge. It's certainly different, though.
Yeah, and you mentioned his high sense before. It's very unusual to see players using that high of a sense because it's so difficult to control. Is it an advantage? Sure, but most players are unable to master such a skill.
I can name 1.
Forrest has a high sense, but I don't think it's as high. I'm not 100% on that one. I'm sure someone will tell us if we're right.
Last time I had... Ooh, Issa catches Sergey after time, I believe, as well. No. Still has cash to play with.
So far in this game, we've seen Hellraisers buy behind save weaponry, right? They've dropped pistols across. Maybe someone's going to buy themselves an MP5. They've done a couple of interesting things behind saved weapons, and it appears they want to do it again, as Hobbit's going to get a UMP in his hand. Same for the likes of, I believe it's Angel, and Woxic's going to have a scout. So this is still a decent buy, all things considered. They've been able to get together a lot of gun rounds. 2 nades are going to land. Alu's going to take a chunk of damage, but still finds the kill on Hobbit. A great opening for Ent if they want to stay in this one.
Wow, he sees 2 HEs coming towards him, and he just holds the line.
Doesn't blink.
Doesn't even blink. That certainly doesn't smile, but he gets the frag. XCB, aggression towards mid. It's going to be met by the flashbang. Trying to force Issa out of position. Issa to receive them on double doors. Angel going to have some support now given to him as Issa starts to scarper. They're going to forego mid should the T's choose to take it. This is the beauty of Dust 2, though. It can go from feeling like B is being pressured to... Oh, never mind. They're not going to be feeling like B is pressured because here's Angel and Issa. Chad, you're nodding. You like that?
Yeah, it's good info play, and they did it together, so there was trade potential. But the problem is, how are they going to find themselves back in this? The lower dark push may catch them off guard. That smoke is perfect to delay. That gives Angel a chance.
They're going to be forced to stare at that smoke, and Angel starts to crawl forward. UMP in hand, Alu's low, and that's not enough.
God.
Quick trigger finger from the Finn. Woxic tested on long. It's only a scout, but he does connect the first. Looking at the toes of Sergey, finally does connect and convert. Looking for another one. It's not good enough. Numbers favoring Ents, but Dead Fox is doing a lot of heavy lifting on short. He has to do more. 2 AKs staring his location. Molotov forces him out, and Alu's there. It's all on Issa, and he's backing the hell out of dodge. He's not interested. We got ourselves an 11th for Ents. They're not out of this one yet.
Alu there, the awareness.
If he goes down, that could have spiraled.
100%, because Alu was the one who had to take down Dead Fox. The 2 players crossing long, they were at the ramp. They had to take that duel.
Alu saves the day.
That was very, very scary. It felt like Alu was on a silver platter for Angel there. He's pushing through lower dark. They did it as a team. The other player dropped back so he could pivot, make sure it wasn't a mid to B in the meantime. Everything was looking good. It was a 4v5, sure, but they still made the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, Woxic, he certainly managed to keep them at bay, actually. A lot of praise to be given to him just for the fact that with a scout, he managed to keep 3 Ts stationary for a solid 15 seconds, but they eventually crawled their way up. He lost his life, and they lose the round. Hellraisers 15, Ents 11.
Quick little B-stream update. I believe G2 has taken down Big.
Oh dear.
16 to 13 on Mirage, with Kenny S leading the way, 25 frags to his name.
Wow. I'm actually going to have to watch that one back. Big, of course. A lot of people expecting big things with Xanteras in the roster. Perhaps the loss of Smooya did sow some seeds of doubt, but at the moment in our game, Woxic really is getting a taste of exactly what he did to them. Tagged down to 11 before he can even get himself dug onto B site. Which should be the 12th, right?
Yeah, when you save an AK like this in the hands of Issa, you want to give him a chance to play. And what I mean by that is you don't want your pistol players to just get completely decimated. So the fact they're a little bit more reserved here, they still have a formation where they are as a unit. It's nice, they can get the information across to their key player.
Wow, Alexi B, he's going to have a lot to deal with when he gets up there, especially now he's tagged down to 47. A couple of, well, one PT-50 bullet would certainly seal the deal. Molly forces them out, and Ents have dealt with this wonderfully. Great control, a smoke, and a boost is getting Issa just the one. That's the AK, setting him up, but that proves too tall a task.
Just to note, the way Woxic died, there was through the doors crossing back towards CT spawn from Alu, the man who tagged him at the start of the round. So
oh, I missed it.
He got the kill in the end, but now it starts to get very dangerous for Hellraisers. At this point, Ents are always going to be buying, right? Like, they're always going to be fully investing. You're not going to see them go into any rounds with a Mac-10 or something like a Khalil. They're going to have the AKs.
All those graphs about how much more CT-sided every game is, well, they certainly don't add up in this one. This equation, perhaps an anomaly, but Hellraisers have been struggling to do the same thing that Ents struggled with.
They have 4 players long right now, Alex. That needs to be noted, and it is a mid-to-B call. Alu's going to find one trying to transition back over and cover that gap, but now Dead Fox, he's on an island over towards B. There's nobody even close. Ents don't know this is the situation.
They're charging into the Lion's Den. Info being gathered on long, sure, but it's actually more Issa who's going to have to do a whole lot of heroics to keep this round from slipping away. Backing away, the flash is going to force him off, but Hobbit, spectacular double, he needed that. Ents, they have to work with 3, starting to cross again. In the meantime, Angel's going to deal with it, and that's the game. How does it end so quick? Issa finds a double as well. Hellraisers, it took a little too long for comfort, but they are happy with that one. 1-1. Not staring down the reverse sweep. The same can't be said for Ents, though. They have got a lot of talking to do.
Blistering pace there in the first half, and then finished in the blink of an eye. So, fantastic stuff from Hellraisers.
Incredible stuff. Hellraisers, Woxic in particular, a lot of credit. Have to throw it towards him. It may have looked crazy at times, but you can't argue with the stats. 120 ADR, 10 multi-kill rounds. He won 5 of his 6 opening duels. Spectacular work from Hellraisers and the Turk.
Let's let the desk break this one down, Alex. Over to you, Trace.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burchill. Yes, that was quite the showing of force there from Hellraisers. In fact, the first half was pretty lopsided, but as the story is told, it would appear as though Ents they just a little bit of fight in them, should I say.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game. The pace coming out of Hellraisers from the get-go, that was super, super cool to see. I believe it was Dead Fox who started out the game by running through a Molotov and just destroy into the B-bomb side. We mentioned it as well. Sergey, he may struggle a little bit on that CT side. Obviously, he made up for it on the T side, but overall, the pace coming out from Hellraisers, Ents couldn't handle it.
Yeah, the start of this match was just so many B hits after B hits after B hits, and Seven and Sergey just had such a hard time. You saw at the end of the half, Alexi V rotating towards the B site, Olo going towards the B site. Woxic was just terrorizing, though, across that mid, picking them, tagging them, and it was like a sinking ship, right? Ents just kept trying to plug all the holes on their CT side, and they just kept sinking.
Yeah, and that sinking ship, it's a hard one to plug when Woxic is rocking 29 frags, 16 deaths, and 118.9 ADR. If you're talking about a diamond in the rough here, if you're talking about really putting some pain down on Ents, he certainly did do that. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I do think that we actually have the opportunity now to hear from the players themselves. Let's go ahead and send it down to Frankie.
Yes. I have Angel with me. Always a pleasure to speak to this gentleman. Such a strong start from you guys, but what happened on that CT side?
Basically, we lost pistol and we had like no spawns for long, so it was super hard to fight there, and we lost like 3 or 4 in a row, like fights for long.
Why do you think the Ents were able to chain so many rounds against you in that half?
One more time?
Why do you think the Ents did perform so strongly against you and you were unable to get back into that half?
I told it, like, we just, like, they keep rolling as T side, they just took long 3 times in a row, and it's super hard to play without, like, long control. So, like, it happens.
Well, on to that first half. I know you've wanted to play with Hobbit for such a long time, and you could see on that T side exactly why, because he was so aggressive and taking crazy fights. But I'm wondering, how did you settle him into the team?
It's like it's still in progress, to be honest. Like, we're still trying to fit perfectly to each other's roles. Like, it's just halfway.
And you've said publicly you feel you haven't made your mark on CSGO yet. How will you know when you have?
I don't know. I just gonna feel it.
What about winning the major?
It's halfway.
We'll see. I'm sure you'll tell me when you've made that mark. Let's head back to the desk to break that game down.
Yeah, an interesting one there indeed. You want to talk about leaving a mark, and you want to talk about actually figuring out how the team is going to work. I want to get some closing thoughts from you guys, and at least what we can pull from that interview.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing coming out of Hellraisers was to get this win. They guarantee their spot in the next major, right? So that is the biggest thing. I love their exciting, fast-paced style, and their young players fit really well in the system.
I love to see Voxic play well. I'm mad at myself for not saying it before the game, but he's one of the best DOS2 players with the AWP that I've ever seen play. Issa as well having one hell of a game. Those two are the catalysts for Hellraisers, so if they want to make it far in this major, those two have to keep up on that level.
Well, we might be a little mad at you as well for no real reason whatsoever. I think you're doing a fantastic job, Pimp, and so are you at home. And if you're joining us, we have another matchup coming your way. It's going to be that of Avangard versus Energy squaring off in this best of one as the Swiss system continues at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Major.
One more time. Are you ready? Let's get it
All eyes are on you. So give them greatness with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks and game like the pros. When you see the unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you'll find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the prize pool of Intel Extreme Masters. Game like a pro, because the world is watching.
Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer.
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Katowice, situated in southern Poland, and in fact situated right here next to this beautiful trophy. Teams now trying to etch their mark into it, and they want to join the likes of Fnatic, finding themselves on here twice. These next two teams that we have coming your way, well, they just want to make a good run for it, if not succeed at its finest. It will be Avangard versus NRG. And before we get any deeper into this one, how about we take you down a little stroll that is Avangard lane?
You know, my teammates growing up right now, like they was young like 1 year ago, but they are growing. So right now, I'm trying to fix that stuff about emotional. You know, like when we lost the really important round, the guys give up, like started to give up, and I'm trying to fix that like as fast as I can, because it's really important to come back in the game. And right now, I think we're good. My teammates did a great job with the mentality, and now I think we're ready to play here, so we'll see. We actually had a boot camp for a week, played like 5 or 6 days, played some official games. Right now our team is good, so we'll see. I got a few teams actually that I want to play against. It's first of them is probably Vitality. The French lineup, they're crazy. Zairu's madman. The second one is probably NIP, because I really respect these guys. They are really good, and get Riot Forest, the legends. And the third one is probably Win Strikes. The last day that we played against them, we just thought like they are really like new team, and it's gonna be not too hard to play against them, but they like surprised us, and we lost. And our coach said, guys, we have to play some more games, and then we're gonna face against them again.
And it's been a wild ride for this Avangard team, and now they're trying to fight for a life here in Katowice, Poland. That's right, they have lost their opening matchup, but I think a lot of people did kind of sleep on them in what was this team showing. And at least for what the other teams have rated them, it's kind of put them in a rougher spot, right, Sean?
Yeah, we mentioned it already on the desk, but the fact that they're ranked 15 is a little bit unfair. Honestly, they're a better team than that, but I mean, they're full of young, up-and-coming players, and they haven't fully proved themselves yet. But with that being said, I think their level should be a little bit higher than that 15 seed.
I definitely agree, and I think we got to see glimpses of that in the first matchup against Liquid, where they pushed them all the way to a 16-12, I believe. At a point, I was thinking to myself, observing the game, this is a game they could actually win. So being able to push one of the favorites for the entire major to a point where you could have won the game, pretty impressive by Avangard.
And I mean, you've got to put that into their back pocket, right? I mean, because you have to come into these best of ones with a certain mindset. You don't have that cushion of a best of 3. Nope. You don't have that sort of runaway that you can kind of say, yes, we lost the first map, let's just wipe the slate clean. But what you can do is look at the numbers, and they are not going to lie to you either. NRG Esports on the other side of this bout, and it has been nothing short of a breeze for these guys.
Yeah, I think what really stands out to me on Avangard's side is Kicker being at the top of their scoreboard, right? We know that James is going to be up there. We know that Buster is going to be up there. But the fact that he is putting up these numbers as the third star for Avangard is definitely huge for them.
I definitely agree.
Huge also noting that we're going to Overpass. I know that you guys are kind of in the thought right now of like, who is Avangard? Who is NRG? What is the storyline? But the storyline is going to have to come to Overpass. That's where we're going.
Think about it. You have NRG facing NIP in the first round on Nuke. Not necessarily a great matchup for them, despite having the 5th seed overall. Now you have NRG facing Avangard on Overpass in a 0-1 match. I feel it couldn't be any harder on themselves right now. I don't know what goes through their mind. I don't know if there wasn't another option. But going up against Avangard and Overpass, that's going to be a big task, because they were looking pretty solid against Liquid.
Yeah, Overpass is actually the best map for probably both of these teams. It's questionable whether it is for Avangard, but they're very good on it. Both these teams win percentage on overpass, actually over 70% in the last 3 months.
Which definitely bodes well. I mean, we're going to talk about numbers not lying. Well, those numbers aren't going to lie themselves. It could put for a very scrappy affair. But the scrappiness isn't here on the analyst desk. It's, in fact, down on the stage where we're getting the team situated right now. And I think it's just about time for us to meet Avangard and NRG.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Avangard. Russian in-game leader James led his Kazakh teammates to the challenger stage at the Boston Major, but Avangard closely missed the legend stage, dropping out as the very last team at the challenger stage. Fighting against North America's new hope, NRG Esports. Over the last year, NRG built a play style that made them more and more successful, running deep at several bigger events and even winning some tournaments. Now is their time to unleash their full potential here at the Counter-Strike Major in Katowice.
Avangard, having selected CT here on Overpass, will unfortunately, maybe fortunately for them, be what it starts this off in the right foot. Is this going to be a good start for them?
I think so. I mean, what we saw in their Liquid game is them losing both pistols against the second best team in the world. Maybe the first, we don't know yet, and still managing to put up 12 rounds. As such a young team, that is such a huge feat for them.
I definitely agree. And for the NRG side, we have seen Cirque on the screen quite a bit here. He has not been having a good time here in Poland so far. During the first stage of the Major, he was not really living up to the same expectations that we had for him. The first match today, he was not living up to it either. And if there's a map you need Cirque to come alive on, it has to be Overpass. He is so dimensional. He's so good at playing Overpass, creating space, rotating around with the AWP. He's one of the best Overpass players I've ever seen. But if he's not feeling it today, that's going to be a big problem for NRG.
That could very well be a big problem. NRG having had more slaps than the Beatles, it appears. Let's talk a little bit about some win conditions, guys. We're about ready to get into the game, but I want to know who your take is on this.
Ooh, I don't know who my take is, to be honest. I think I'm going to side NRG, but that's because I think Cirque can have a big game in the bathroom area on their CT side, but they need to get enough rounds on their T side, unlike a lot of the teams we've seen so far at this Major. So they can't crumble in this first half.
Talking win conditions, Cirque is definitely one of them, especially considering he's going up against Jamie, who's been playing hearts out as well with the AWP. So I feel it's all up to Cirque here. Obviously, you have guys like Ethan, you have Breeze as well, for that matter. They're strong individual riflers, but if you don't have Cirque showing up on a map like Overpass, facing a guy like Jamie, you're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, and I think the storyline here is Breeze having been that sort of like underlying character, being that sort of hard point here for NRG, and he certainly got him into this position, which is against Avangard on Overpass. That's right, NRG ready to kick it off in a big way, and so are your commentators, and Sponge and Alex Machine Richardson. Take it away, boys.
Thanks so much, Trace and Saranthus there, alongside Jacob Impenica and, of course, Sean Gares. Let's talk about this one, Chatty B. We're jumping into the pistol round. I'm strapping myself in for a good one here. I have the expectation that Avangard are going to truly test NRG. It starts in a fast Cirque with one. James, though, making a CZ on the pistol round work. He's run out of ammo, and that means only one thing. Fugly does eventually get the frag. Door open, forces him to Scarpa. Does have a fresh magazine, though, as he chooses to recede. It's not a magazine, it's a clip.
Get your terminology right, Alex. But one of the things to note here is the 2 opening kills. One goes in the favor of Cirque, the following trade from Jane. They are the highest rated players for each team when it comes to opening kills. Now when Jane finds the opening kill, his team convert 20% of the rounds, which is actually high because everyone else is lower than that, 15%, 17%. Okay. But we have this pistol round now as all the players from NRG have grouped up towards long. Breezy will be entry fragging as the other two now finally make their way up to join the attack.
Loving this free cam work. Helps you see that attack come together. They start to group on long. You can see it's going to be all on Fitch on Bank, choosing to back away. Now this might be rewarded as his teammates are coming to help, and he has to just find a one-on-one. Breezy gives it to him, but oh my god, he is like a bloodhound. Hot in pursuit. Breezy, Krisen's not even looking in that direction. He has the idea that Fitch has him covered, but he doesn't. Fitch has only got 1 point of health to work with.
The bomb's down.
Krisen has taken the bomb out of Fugly's hands. This could become problematic. Daps now in long on his own. Now Breezy's overextended. This is starting to dissolve in front of NRG. Now Krizen's on truck. He has to deal with that to get the bomb down. Krizen, his presence alone could be enough. Look at the clock, 10 seconds. Finally, Daps shuts him down. Bomb should be going in, but you can see where it's planted. Buster's got that info for free, and now the push comes in. Already Buster finds one. Down to Breezy for the 1v2. Exceptional work in the challenger stage, but not this time. Buster secures it, seals the deal, and the pistol goes the way of Avangar.
I don't know how that player was able to push through and get the kill on the planter there. That doesn't feel like it should happen, especially with how aggressive Breezy was being. You have to look at how confident he is to take those duels. They had site control. There wasn't really any need to push and continue to fight from that bank position, but he was able to do a lot of damage. Now, sure, you could flip the coin there. You could say in one way it was good, one way it was bad. The fact of the matter is they didn't know that bathrooms was clear because all three players had come through long. So they were worried, they needed to plant on the safer side. They didn't want to get flanked. They didn't want to get caught between a rock and a hard place. That's why he opted to go so aggressive. So it's not a misplay. It looks that way to us. That's because we can see everything, where in the server, they don't have the same information.
And to rewind just a little bit, let's not forget that round would have looked very different if James hadn't managed to get 2 with the CC and underpass. Suddenly they'd have got overwhelmed, numbers favoring NRG. That's not the case though, as we delve into our second round. We've got 2 Supermen. Of course, it's Breezy and Ethan, 2 of the most up-and-coming and prominent North American players, both renowned for their ability to place the crosshair on the head and click.
It sounds simple, doesn't it? But the way that these guys do it, their movement, everything, it really just complements their confidence as individuals. And it wouldn't surprise me if they can get something done here.
And that confidence has been blooming. Every single year you see the NRG roster starting to just acquire more and more of it. And a win here and progress here in Katowice would certainly give them more confidence. In buckets and spades, we start to see a Vanguard set up for this attack. Oh my god, there's so many of them. NRG grouping.
They're just going to walk to a spot here. This is contact play, Alex.
Contact play from Breezy. Start to charge in. Oh my goodness, what is that from Breezy? Cracks open to the site. Fitch is the last man standing, but this stalwart champion's taken 2. Ethan, the second AK comes in now. It comes in waves, 1 AK at a time. Cirque scavenged the other. Ethan catches the nade, but that's by no means the end of their chances here.
Just note, it isn't a good plant right now, and Daps is very passive. So if this does come down to a situation where Daps will need to defend, he's going to need to get stuck in very quickly.
Buster has the kit. Krizen's on the, I was going to say rotate, maybe going towards bank.
They're just making sure there's no flank right now. It appears they want to do damage.
I'm worried about the time. Accepting that this round's not going their way. Perhaps they want to take something away from NRG. They're not blooming with bucks, don't forget that. This was 2 AKs and some supporting pistols, but it's been enough. NRG secure round 2.
You need to really notice how much work Breezy just did there, right? It's not the fact that he gets 2 kills. It's the fact that he walks into the bomb site, head on a swivel, gets 2 opening frags, and cracks it open to allow the bomb to go down short. Ethan needed to jump on in short. He needed to get that kill, but he's done that alone. That's one individual with an AK.
I hope we see James. Yeah, look at this. Breezy is shot at with his back in 180 degrees from his opponent. He shuts him down and then adjusts onto kick it as well. That's an outstanding way to open a round with limited resources.
Looks like Avangar want to bounce right back. They've gone for a force buy of their own. Scout in the hands of James, who gets a lot done with the scoped weapons. Let's see if he can do it with the AWP's little brother.
Can you really defend against that utility? Look at that. 5 smokes, 3 Molotovs, 9 flashes. If NRG put this utility into the right places, it's going to be so hard for the CTs to do anything with this force bite.
The only thing against them right now is if they were to go for a limp into B, Ethan get a little bit curious, picks on his own, he could fall to one of these pistols because he doesn't have anybody close to him, and we can see there's 4 members stacking over towards that bomb site.
But this is why NRG aren't doing anything quick. They want to be able to get that information. They're not going into a site blind. Daps is smoke, not sure the intention, perhaps, to draw out any of the already limited CT resources in response. Nothing came, though. They've got 2 smokes and 2 flashes for a Vanguard. That's all they've got to keep this round afloat.
Look how cautious NRG have been, clearing every corner and connector, making sure that territory is really theirs, not being lazy about their clear either.
I'm not complaining.
I guess after that NIP game, it's a bit of a wake-up call.
This is not a guarantee. Perhaps the challenger stage was, this is a different kettle of fish. Admittedly, a Vanguard from them. Same stage. But their result versus Liquid, although a loss, 16-12, has got a lot of people talking.
Just this little exchange from Ethan over in water, I thought would have been enough to keep the B players there, and it is, but they've actually fallen back towards the B bomb site. This could be disastrous for NRG. All 5 members are going to be waiting at this B bomb site.
Vanguard, it's down to you. They've come into your den. What can you do? Buster shows some body shots into Daps. James Scout is present in the kill feed as well. Now Buster repositioning and starting to do damage, but now they're getting shredded. Just Ethan alone. He's only got a Glock. What's that? They've done it. A Vanguard gifted the charge onto the stacked site, and a Vanguard, they profit from it.
James did enough over towards that A bomb site with just the scout to force them to run all the way back towards B. They knew they had the connector. Ethan hadn't seen anything. He took a little bit of a duel. There was a spam battle back and forth, but they were scared of that A bomb site because the lack of time. The close range angles when you're running in are very scary when you have AKs against pistols, but they've gone back into either site. They didn't actually have enough map territory to set up a proper execute because they put themselves under a lot of pressure with the clock.
Yeah, that was such a chaotic round as well. You didn't quite get to catch some of that CT fragging, but a Vanguard, it was Buster who really managed to kind of, well, bust that round open. He got some real solid work with the Deagle. It was aggressive on ramp, catching them on their aggress through short. We might even get to see it if we're lucky. Yep. So this is James' work. Look at this for the scout. He already got one already. Buster comes up to finish it off with a shot into the booty of Ethan, but that's plenty. Everyone doing their bit. The force buy pays off.
This is a economical tug of war as NRG opt to buy again. AKs for Cirque and Breezy this time round. Ethan with a Galil. Pistols in the hands of Daps and Fugly. And this time round they're going for a bit more of a direct approach to connect to the pistols, taking the close range duels, as the rifles are going to be going over towards Playground and Fountain.
Oh, but look at Fitch using that AUG. I haven't even thought about this. The AUG can take those fights much more comfortably towards Playground. Previously, not really an angle the CT's comfortable in. Certainly not without support, but he does that solo. Backing away now. Did have Kicker alongside him, and in fact, I think he's going to leave him there, pushed up on long. In the meantime, Fugly has got water.
See, look what's happened here on the map at the top left, Alex. Fitch has pushed, he's got a kill. It's forced them back towards B, but they've rotated already. Fitch is going to be back towards B before they know it.
Yeah, and they're going to make the call for sure. It's absolutely black and white. They're coming, and Buster's ready for them. Fugly down. Prison really, really hungry for pressure towards Monster, but Cirque's going to be given some freedom. What can he do with it? Nothing is the answer. Spectacular from Crizant. That double dink sounds so satisfying with the UMP. That's the sound of precision. And we've got ourselves the third for a Vanguard. They've managed to, I mean, what's happening here? Daps and NRG likely digging themselves into quite an economical hole with that force.
Yeah, well, if NRG was able to bounce back and win the force buy of their own, then maybe you start snowballing on top of the economy and, you know, you get a really good T-half under your belt. The problem is, if you're unable to convert the gimmies, you're going to find yourself in a bit of a pinch. And Daps right here, the best he can do is hopefully find one kill. You're not going to see too much more. Doesn't have any armor to go with it, so he's going to fall to Kicker. And that's going to be the third round for Avangard. Now, they're just pushing them around the map in these early stages. Really bullying NRG in their rotations. Probably that game before against NIP has shaken NRG.
And in contrast, Avangard, I think that warmed them up. A loss versus Liquid, yes, but I believe they managed to keep their CT side under lock and key under a very well-prepared Liquid. In fact, yes, Avangard, they had 8 CT rounds to secure a very comfortable 8-7 split on the half versus Liquid. This time, we're seeing how their CT side fares versus NRG. Now the eco. It was an inevitability, but it took to round 5 to see NRG's money truly broken. Unwilling to force this time, charging into the jaws of Kicker. And he should be able to spray them all down. Lines them up, and I think it's going to be Crizant. Oh, that couldn't have worked out better. He gets the AK as well. Nothing lost, but plenty gained. Do your maths. 1,800.
Yeah, just for those who aren't aware, you get a little bit more money if you get the kills with the SMG as opposed to the rifle. 600 compared to 300. So for the bank balance of Avangard, that's a good way to go down. Of course, losing 2 players to Glocks, not ideal. But the AWP will come out right now for James. We will not see the same for NRG. Cirque left with the AK-47. This, to me, speaks of an execute.
Yeah, I'm hungry to see Cirque CT AWP, but we'll see how much actually rounds he gets to play with, given how this half is starting to shape up. Still plenty of time for NRG. This is the full AKs. Chad's expecting something from the Daps playbook, and we're about to find out. Bomb left loose. Signifies a slower take. They're leaving Ethan towards Monster. The Nico-esque role. They just leave him to his own devices. He's got aim, and he's got brain.
Yeah, the job of that player is just to contain, you know, call out any utility used, allow your in-game leader to know, okay, they've used a smoke, they've used 2 smokes, Molotovs have come in, they've taken water control. That's your job, is just to give the in-game leader all the information he needs to piece the puzzle together for what the best plan of attack is going to be.
Because the bomb's next to Ethan, right?
Yeah, this is just a default spread right now. This is information gathering in its finest. Clear out the map, grab the map utility for free that you can with simple utility, flashing corners, smokes to push back angles, good movement, and jiggle peeking. And once you've got that under your belt, then Daps, he gets to calculate it all and make a call that hopefully pays off if you're an NRG fan.
I don't envy in-game leaders in this game so much to keep track of. And I have the honor to actually cast with one who it was all too much for. I mean, you can attest that it can break a man.
I'm still having my meltdown, Alex.
In-game leadership in Counter-Strike, a stressful role, there's no doubt. Crizant is going to be stressed, forced to watch from the sidelines as Fitch manages to equalize. Cirque doing the same. Buster catches on the duel versus Ethan. Perhaps a little early to show, but I say that. There's only 20 seconds left. The bomb has been scooped up by Daps. And I don't know if this default's going to be paying dividends, because right now, 15 seconds, all pressure on NRG. Daps the entry fragger as he strides in. Fugly could get caught off. I think he has to push over that Molotov, otherwise it's just curtains. 8 seconds, they can stop this plant. Buster has the chance, and he will do just that. Not enough, no bullets. Daps gets the trade. This could still go NRG's way, but it's not looking likely.
Oh, no.
The CTs are boosted, and James has profited from it. But look at this.
Did they hear him? They've turned around. One of them knows something's up.
James re-aiming it. Oh, I think that little step could have cost him his life.
I thought Daps may have done enough to allow Breezy to get back into this round, but...
I love the position. I mean, the fact that Breezy's there, the bomb planted enough for him. The idea was there, but I'm worried. I mean, 20 seconds and you haven't got any of the control onto the site you were planning on.
Yeah, so they did the default well enough to get a little bit of territory. They had connector. Ethan was able to get a B kill for free, basically, but then he's taken water on his own. It doesn't feel like there's a clear line of communication or a clear idea right now. I think it's, let's go out, let's spread pick, let's hope we can find some openings and snowball. They weren't able to do that, even though Ethan had the opening kill. They still lost a man in transition. Ethan got a little bit hungry, went for another kill of his own. And then, like you said, 20 seconds left. They're forced into a B take without a lot of structure, without a plan. And now they're forced onto pistols. It's not looking good for NRG at all.
We'll see just how destabilized this roster is. It was a best of one. It's pretty cutthroat. You lose 2 maps, you're forced into a best of 3 for survival. And best of 3s from then on out. Here comes the Molotov from Crizant. That's going to keep them at bay. This is going to be a very quick swarm onto B. This is where your aim gets tested. They're everywhere, and they hurt. Ethan trades off onto Fitch, just the P250s. Now we need to see more from Crizant. It has to be a multi-kill. Already pressured. He could lose his life. He does. But look at Buster, keeping things under lock and key. Very impressed by Buster here. I know, yes, an eco bash, all that nonsense, but he truly has been keeping that B site safe, regardless of what he's being thrown at him.
Yeah, good shot to end that one off there. It could have gotten a bit dicey. I like NRG's approach, smoking off those 2 choke points towards the mid at A and then making their way down connector to catch a CT, getting aggressive off guard from a more unusual angle. Normally you see coming up connector and then going out to water, or coming up connector and going out towards the balloons, but they've gone the reverse.
To back up my Buster point as well, taking a quick look at the advanced stats, and I can see we're in round 7. He has already got 5 multi-kill rounds. That is from defending that site. Admittedly, it may be a pistols, it may be simple 1 AK, 3 P250s, whatever it is. Spectacular control, and he's helping the quote-unquote easy rounds come home alongside the difficult ones. So that's 16-1. A timeout called, and understandably so. It looks like we're going to be getting back into things.
No AWP still for Cirque. Now, sure, there's not enough money to, fully invest in the AWP and get all the goodies to go with it, but I'm surprised we haven't seen it come out as a glass cannon to take on the fight with James. But like I mentioned before, I was expecting an Execute to come out when I saw the AKs to at least give some pacing to the T side of NRG, but so far, they just think the default spread pick is the best option.
Vanguard's molly failed there, I think. Perhaps something that they won't be able to replicate, so don't count on it, NRG, but that's some freedom given to the Ts should they choose to use it. They haven't. Ethan, in the meantime, this is clearly his role. Try and keep Water and Monster under lock and key, but it's not an easy one by any stretch.
The reason you want to be a little bit more aggressive in that position every now and again is to keep the CTs honest. You don't want them to think that they can have Water for free every time, because that's a big part of the map that you'll have to retake in the late round. So him showing a little bit of aggression, showing a willingness to fight, forces them to...
It's like a mini game.
Yeah, but as you can notice, they did have 4 players over towards B at that point. James over towards long, so now 2 rotations of Fitch and Kickert are making it back towards A. So James has long, the other 2 are going to have to deal with the toilet push, which has been left open now since the start of the round.
If James gets into position here, this is going to just destroy this assault in toilets at the moment. The T's start to gather, but Jamie is in position. The smoke's going to force them to hold back. 18 seconds depleted off the clock unless they don't respect it. Breezy's ahead of the pack, and that's one. James looking to go close quarters. This is ambitious. Is he alone? Doesn't really have the support. Fitch is on
He's going to hear this. He's going to hear the rotation. They're going to rotate to B. They are absolutely destroying NRG with the rotations right now.
Is on sticks. Perfect work from James. He's going to make the call, and now it's down to Chris, and he has to pass this test. Coming from every angle, softened up by his teammates, but now it's him and Fitch. Ever the rotator, but that's great from Ethan and Daps. Don't find the win, and that should be NRG finding their second. They secure it.
Just because you know they're coming doesn't guarantee you the frag or the round, as NRG will post their second on the board. End the drought, 6-2 now. Avangard looking solid. Even though they lost the round, they're still just really toying with NRG.
I mean, that just came down to Jules, right? When we see Ethan and Daps thrive under that pressure. You can see the coach as well. I haven't talked about him just yet. I'm a pet. He's been known to do his homework. Of course, feels relatively helpless once those timeouts are expended or the round is in play. He has to count on that homework being enough. You can see a fantastic angle for that Molotov. Oh, I think they're doing the boost. I don't know why I'm whispering. They can't hear me, but still.
Keep it really quiet in case
They're doing the boost. Of course, this helps you look towards heaven. There won't be a CT there, and so we can all get back onto our seats now.
Hold up, there might be an opportunity. Kickert is rotating. It'd be strange for him to go that wide in that position. It doesn't matter because the totem pole of death has dropped. We need to get rid of that bloody train, that's all I'm saying.
That's the technical term.
The totem pole of death?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. They've been able to hedge 4B again. Look how much confidence that James, as the primary AWPer and in-game leader for this team, has. He is on an island over towards that A bomb site.
Buster, in the meantime, the double AWPs from a Vanguard, and they're close. Challenging water, challenging the short pipe.
I love this angle.
You should find one here. It should be a free, but Cirque so quick. They needed that. They really did. NRG keep things level. Once again, you know, we can't forget what Cirque is capable of. The Bulgarian has done ridiculous things with the big green gun.
This looks like to be, I was going to say a bit of a fake, but they're actually going on in. Daps with the bomb, leading the charge now.
But Fitch is in trouble. Daps has already done what he did prior. Now needs to find a double over. That's going to be Krisen starting to contest. He nearly gets 3. Quicker with the AUG. And now just one man, Cirque, no health, no hope. 20 seconds, does upgrade to the AK, and that is an upgrade in this scenario, but no, Krisen even finds it with the AWP. This is the weirdest couple of rounds of Counter-Strike. As NRG, they're sent back to, I imagine, scraps.
Yeah, they need to take a pause and talk this one through because the economy for Avangard isn't great right now. NRG could scrap together a buy. They could have something pretty decent, and they will be going for it. I've just seen Ethan and Cirque upgrade the AKs on at least 3 players.
So if the 4 spies coming in and you've got 2 AWPs and nades to work with, where are you putting them? One on each site and cross your fingers and toes?
I think the bigger problem right now for NRG is they're getting kind of hedged out of the situation. Avangard are leaning 4B a lot at the start of the rounds and just allowing James to do whatever he wants towards A because they know the rotation. They know he's either going to get one or he's going to survive and delay long enough that they can get there. So NRG, if they pick up the pace and go towards B, they're going to run into a 4-man stack. Unless they can just pick James straight away and then snowball and just rush that A bomb site and take a lot of territory away, they're going to find themselves in a bit of trouble, and they also don't know that that 4-man B lane has been coming in.
Well, let's think about it. Think about the round NRG, or one of the 2 rounds that they won, was Breezy spearheading straight into the A site. This is going to be interesting.
It looks like a B play. Right now, all 5 members from NRG are making their way straight towards that monster tunnel.
If they walk into the stack, it's problematic. We'll find out, because Fitch is about to have a bit of a party. He's standing in the molly. He's gone. The Flash and the Molotov, a deadly combination, but so is Buster, Kickert, and Krisen, all of them filling up the kill feed. NRG's charge towards B. They meet the stack, and they meet their fate, just fugly. Wondering where it all went wrong as a Vanguard pursue their 8th here in the 10th.
The B-side blender just absolutely obliterating NRG. That's what's going to happen when you have the 4-man B lane. You have so many players there, so much utility can be thrown out. Fugly's going to be cleaned up with any second. And now they can upgrade their weapons. It was a suboptimal buy. Now the fact of the matter is they just picked up 2 AKs. They still have the double AWPs in play. They can drop a gun across to Fitch. NRG are bankrupt because that was a forced buy on their side of things.
God, the risky economy choices are so punishing in a best of 1 when they don't pay off. Worst case scenario in a best of 3, you say, okay, we had to try, it didn't work, let's look at map 2. Here it's, we had to try, what do we do now?
Here's the problem. Normally, I'd be saying NRG with 2 rounds at this point, they can still convert, maybe get, 4 or 5 on the board. That's not too bad. The reason that I'm all doom and gloom is because they're being dictated to, right? A lot of these rounds, they're just getting wiped out. It's not hard clutch situation.
This is a change from none other than Fitch and Kickert. Previously B players, now in underpass. They're ready to receive, and the MP5 from Fitch has managed to find himself a double. Even the USP is finishing them off, and that is a Vanguard's 9th in less than 30 seconds of play.
I can't hear the voice comms, but I can imagine the call would have been, let's go towards A, we'll just flash the AWPer and try and swarm him. Well, the fact of the matter was, the AWPer had more than enough of a buffer around him that the rifles did all the work, mopped it up, and completely destroyed NRG, who definitely didn't have a chance in the round with only those pistols, but the idea is still being thought of and prepared for by Avangard.
I like that they mix it up. This is previously the team that have been stacking 4B. Suddenly there's 2 underpass ready for your pistols. Firm grasp so far from Avangard.
Look at the utility right now, Alex. Would you say that's ideal for a team like NRG when we're this late in the game?
I would say Daps's strat book has a limited number of pages that require 4 smokes and 2 flashes. We're about to find out, though. They still have incredible players.
Why are they so scared over towards Playground and Fountain? There was only 1 round where there was really any pure aggression. That was Fitch right? In the early stages with the AUG. Sure, they throw the smoke, and Jame might pick over it occasionally, but Daps is going to take the head off Buster.
That's a 1 dap.
You going to dab on that one?
Absolutely not.
Now, here's the problem. Daps is going for more aggression towards Monster, but no trade potential. He's just got the opening. Is he trying to give that away as quickly as he's just got it? He has. He's gone for an individual play as the in-game leader. If that was Ethan or Breezy, sure. But now the brains, sure, he can still talk.
The brains of the brigade has to watch from the sidelines. That is an interesting choice. They already managed to disable just a little bit of that B defense. They know it tends to be stacked. Not this case, of course. As you can see, a nice little 2-2 split. Sack. Considering a smoke towards Ethan's position. It's going to enable him to perhaps start to find some angles. 1 towards Barrels. The Molotov's going to confirm it. Does he push? He certainly does. There's 1 upper. Fitch is not going to expect this. He does! Finds 2. Fugly on Monster. Then a quick adjustment. Catches Ethan in aggress. Now all on Breezy. And this is a problem he's going to try and address. 18 seconds. He does have the bomb within his grasp. He's just a moment away. Kickert playing the waiting game. He knows the pressure is on Breezy. And now the fight's given to him. He wins that. Now just a 1v1.
Time.
5 seconds.
No time.
His teammates have made the call. He can't hold this. This is James' free kill, and he will take it. 10 for a Vanguard. Breezy close, but no cigar.
This is NRG capitulating right here. They are feeling the pressure. These are mistakes that you don't normally see them make. They're falling apart at the seams, individually going for plays that don't make any sense. They're giving themselves number advantages. Ethan did it in the earlier stages. Daps has just done it there again. When they tried to change it, the pace didn't work. So they feel, let's just go the default and let our individual prowess really reign supreme. But the problem is, Avangard are part of that generation. They play that heads-up style of Counter-Strike, and they have so much faith in their in-game leader, James, just holding this A bomb site. They have just pushed NRG, I guess, to the breaking point.
I am so impressed by Fitch as well. I mean, listening to him in the interview, don't forget, this was the quote-unquote rookie joining Gambit, and now he's talking about his team as a team that needs development in their mental issues, and he seems like he's grown up a whole lot in a very short space of time. As he said, so have Avangard. Less emotionally attached to the rounds.
This here is when they can find the gap. Look how much space they have. Sure, James on the site, but they've been able to walk up without detection. 2 players will flank them and lock them in, but they might get a chance to get on the bomb site.
Yeah, James, he's been living large on this site for too long. Now the charge comes in. Kickert. He's going to have to try and take at least 1 out of them here, but look at this. They just hit the brakes. The site's free.
They know
They've
Daps is
got all
crossed.
the angles. Molly's going to force Daps out, and okay, he's gone. Fitch and Kickert both coming from long. 3 Ts remain. This is going to be a hard one to hold with nothing but CZs, Deagles, and just a little bit of Kevlar. Buster's already busted into the site, and Breezy. He's not long for this world. Tagged up on Optimus. He can't do much. Desert Eagle and nothing less than Fitch. Double. Nice and easy. Avangard will find themselves their 11th. But surely that's a revelation for NRG.
Look, when you do a setup, you have contingency plans as the CT side. That was the worst case scenario, the AWPer getting overwhelmed and forced back and the bomb site given up. The contingency has to have the 2 players towards long drop back and take the duel from that position. I'm sure you could have had multiple different ways to deal with that of Avangard. You could have gone through toilets and really locked them in. But they seem so well prepared with all of their rotations that even if NRG find the right gap, find the right solution, they're still going to find themselves in a rock and a hard place. And right there you can see Cirque, do I look towards long? Do I fight towards bank? What about the drop down position? All of those places he could have dived from there, and he has nowhere safe to stand.
They're just running out of options and running out of rounds. Vanguard, you can see how they managed to do this. Fitch is really he's looking comfortable with the AUG, there's no doubt about it. 100 ADR for him. In fact, there you go. Cast your eyes down that. Nearly 3 of them. Over 100 damage per round. I reckon the multi-kills are pretty telling as well, but don't have to be a genius to say Avanga have got good stats at 11-2 versus NRG. This would put the loser of this game 0-2, a best of 3 for survival on the door kit next.
I had both of these teams in my pick'em, and Avangard was the dark horse. They were the outsider.
Same. I had Ents too, so I'm really looking like a nice bronze, brown, ugly coin for me.
You know what they say, Alex, don't count your chickens.
Yeah, until they frag, I think is the saying.
Yeah, we haven't given them AKs yet, but that's a work in progress. Coming to you on the summer of 2020.
Sign me up. Pencil that into my calendar. We still say pencil it in. No one uses pencils anymore. When was the last time you held a pencil, Chad?
Pencil in our hotel room.
Okay, well, you've played me there.
Okay, so see how slow they have to be about clearing all of these corners? They haven't actually done a relatively fast default over towards A, and they're so scared of those aggressive moves that we've seen come in very sporadically. But they have to respect it because it's worked for Avangard. So now you can see like they're having to flash every corner, jiggle peek. It's taking a lot of time. 45 seconds left on the clock, and once again, it doesn't look like they have a clear idea. And Avangard with James and Kick It in the toilet so close have so much information.
Uh-oh, they're about to get a whole lot more. Breezy's here is the information, and the double from Breezy. He had no right for the second Kick It. Well, Kick It himself, a third. Breezy, you can't do this. That's not fair. 4 frags. He might even find the 5th here. Tax Prison up, Daps will dunk it, but my goodness. We say you can aim, we say he's got brain, and he just delivers in a very crucial round. Round 14, they find their 3rd round.
That's 2 rounds that I would accredit to just being won by Breezy alone. He had the round where he walked onto the A bomb site, open with 2 big kills. Here, just absolutely decimated the defense. He should never get this 2nd kill. Kick It should have had him dead to rights right there.
So let's just clarify. The AUG is a 3-shot kill, right?
Look, it's a whole range situation. I won't get stuck in the particulars.
Okay, he's right next to him.
He should be dead.
He should be dead. I hear at least 1 bullet touch his toes in the jump, but my goodness, 50 HP, he finds another. 4 frags for Breezy in that round, and now pressure being applied to James, forced to back away.
I want to say that you can't win a game with 1 man alone, but we have seen Breezy do it for NRG in the earlier stages of the major. To get to this position, to go 3-0, he had to put this team on his back and put in a gargantuan performance. He's going to need to